Well, hello guys. Sorry, I don't have a cool intro. I don't know how to do an intro. If you don't know who that is, I mean, I don't know how to help you. But this is my special guest of our first podcast, the one and only person that is going to introduce himself.
Whoa, my goodness. Hello. It is me. It is King Panda, otherwise known as King Panda95, or on Twitch,
Underscore
King Panda95 underscore. Yeah. Here in the fur.
live with us. Yeah, I guess it doesn't technically. I mean, anyone who's anyone should be able to figure it out. But I realized, like, technically, it just shows your icon down there and then your face. So if they didn't know, like, I guess if I hover my mouse, no, it doesn't even really show there. So yeah, guys, it's King Panda. Okay, you know who King Panda is. If you don't know who King Panda is, you don't watch. Oh, there. Oh, big brain.
Oh yeah,
Wait,
you
how
like
did
that?
you do that?
Yeah.
Whoa. I mean, my name is short, so it just shows TheRaichuuu when I hover the mouse over because it's just a little short name. That is cool though. You're teaching me things about Discord. But hi, King. Hope you're doing great today. We've got a lot of good questions. I have a few different topics as well that we can chime in with as well. But we've got a good amount of questions, so I think we can just jump right in if you're ready.
Yeah.
And see where the night takes us. So. First question, I'm a gentleman, so I will let you answer first on any question that is applicable to you. The very first question, I think this is going to be an excellent question for you. It's by Brian the Wolf, and he says, going to your first convention, what to expect and what to bring or pack? So this is an excellent question for you.
Ooh. Okay. What to bring and then what to pack? Oh goodness gracious. So I've only been going to cons for maybe about 2 years now. So it's been a mixture from really small cons to big cons. Um, and this is as both like as a fursuiter and as someone who doesn't have a fursuit when I was initially attending these things. Um, when you're if you're going as without a suit, you're just attending the con. Um, I would say really just pack lightly. You're most likely going to be visiting things like the dealer's den, and finding yourself like navigating through the different like merchandise booths, whether it's T-shirts or art or little knickknacks. And if you overpack for the trip initially, like you're probably gonna find yourself a bit full with your luggage. So I would always recommend to pack lightly. That way you can always leave some room for the cool stuff that you're gonna bring back home. Or maybe even make sure to pack like an extra like backpack or something like that, so that we can put all this merchandise stuff into there. Um, that's what I would say. As a fursuiter, packing as a fursuiter for a con is very it's like a whole other universe there, because you need to worry about um, making sure you pack like your brushes, your hangers, um, whether it be like cleaning supplies or fursuit sprays, um, or like extra pairs of socks, extra like active Under Armour esque clothing, stuff like that. Different face masks, just so that way you're not like reusing the same things after like long sessions of suiting. Um, it's it's interesting, but if it's your very first con, if it's your very first con, pack lightly. You know, try to bring an extra bag just in case for merchandise if you do plan on getting something from there, or even if it's like you're gonna be like taking home like the little brochures or like the little map handouts that they give out during the cons, um, and you're gonna have an amazing time. That's what I would say to that.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. So, as a non-fursuiter, I actually have two different angles to position it from as well, because I've done both of these things. For me, there's a difference between if it's a con I'm driving to versus a con I'm flying to. So, and I don't mean a local con like you're going home, because my thing is I've always driven to BLFC, which is like a 9-hour drive, 8-9 hour drive. So it's a little different. If you're driving, you have a little more space, so you can be a little more generous with your packings, things you can bring, for example. You can be a little more, I don't know if aggressive is the right word, but a little more bold in the amount of stuff you bring because you have more room, because you don't have the space limitations of a suitcase on an airline. You have whatever room you have in your car. So if you have a lot of room in your car, I mean, if you're just going with one other person or just by yourself or something, presumably you have a lot of room in your car for stuff. So that kind of opens that door. So if you're driving, if you're going to have a car, you can probably pack a bit heavier if you so desire. If you want to bring, snacks or alcohol, whatever you want to bring, that's something we always brought because, if you're driving, you have the benefit of being able to bring those things and kind of have a leg up on people that are flying. In my opinion, it's kind of an advantage in that regard. So you can do that. If you're flying, like King said, I think the key is pack light. You don't really need a whole lot. You should make sure you have extras of important clothing items, like an extra couple pairs of underwear, for example, or extra shirts, extra pants, just because sometimes emergencies happen, like you spill a frickin' something on you or something like, plan for something unexpected to happen, but also, don't overpack because you're probably going to want to buy stuff, and not being able to buy something because you don't have room. That's a bad feeling. That's a really bad feeling because you're at this con, you spent all this money to go there. There's something you really like and you can't get it because you don't have space because you didn't plan well. That's a pretty bad feeling. So, I think that's great advice that King gave as far as pack light, but also do make sure you're prepared for emergencies, because it sucks if you're all right, I'm on my last pair of pants for the last day, and then oops, I just spilled, I don't know, my spaghetti, whatever. I just spilled a plate of spaghetti on me, or whatever it may be. I mean, listen, especially, this is personal experience, okay? Especially if you will be consuming alcohol, plan for emergencies isn't the right word. Accidents, plan for something unexpected to happen, okay? So just make sure you're prepared, especially in that case. But even if you're not, I mean, you might be around people who will be, or in general, unexpected things happen at cons. You're tired because you were out all night dancing and then you didn't get a lot of sleep. So you do something stupid like spill your drink on yourself or drop your burger in your lap, whatever it may be. Just prepare for the unexpected. But yeah, I agree with King, pack light. Anything that, now that I've said that, King, anything else you want to add on to what I talked about there?
No, I think you really hit the nail on the head there with that. It's really cool that you brought up the potential for driving to locations, because in my mind I'm always like, oh, it's the majority of folks that I'm always talking to, they're like, oh, I'm going to be flying to this, I'll be flying to that.
Yeah.
But even I don't fly to very many cons
Right.
unless it's extremely far away. If it's drivable for me, if it's within like a maximum of like an 8-hour
Oh, 100%.
drive, like I'll do it.
100%.
That's
Me too.
absolutely fine.
Yep. Me too. The only con I've ever flown to is MFF. Anything on the West Coast, I'm driving.
Yeah.
So, yeah, absolutely. I love driving. It's great to have your car. You can bring stuff that you can bring so much more stuff that, gifts for friends. When we drove, I could bring stuff for friends that I would not have been able to pack in a little suitcase, if I was flying somewhere and stuff like that. It's great for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. All right. You good with that one, King? Should we move on to number 2? All right.
I'm good with that.
Excellent. Thanks for the question, Brian. Number 2, this is from Ross Cool Cat. It says, how did the Pokemon Raichu resonate with you when you're choosing a persona? Sorry, King. You're out of luck on this one. You can share how Raichu resonated with you. But
is there? Because I'm very new to Pokemon because I've only ever just played my very first Pokemon game last summer. Is there a Red Panda-esque Pokemon in existence?
Not really. That would be cool though. That'd be great. But we can say how Red Panda resonated with you, which I kind of know this story. But how about we let you kick it off? How did a Red Pandas resonate with you?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Kick us off.
Well, for starters, I actually didn't even know Red Pandas even existed until I joined the fandom. I joined and I got into like a local furry group chat in my area back in Arizona. And one of them was sending out Red Panda stickers, and I was like, "What is this creature? Did you just make this?" And they're like, "No, it's a Red Panda. Have you never seen one before?" And I was like, "What?" No, I'm never gonna see one of these things. What are they? And I looked them up, and they're little sleepy dudes sleeping on branches, fighting rocks, doing that little stand thing that they do when they're terrified, and they get real big and tall. And I've seen it, and it's true, and it works. And they eat apples, and I was like, these guys are that me. I want to be that.
That's
me. What I
me.
want to do. Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm sorry you didn't get to experience red pandas. You know, I always think like, you know, I lived in San Diego for most of my life, and at the San Diego Zoo, there's always the red pandas. And I vividly remember walking through the red panda exhibit or whatever you call it and seeing them a lot, and they are very cute. So I'm sorry you didn't get to experience that.
Well,
I'll try. I can take you someday. I
wasn't able to.
Oh, but have you seen them in person now?
Yeah, actually, within the last 2 months, I went out to St. Louis to go and visit my friend, and they had a red panda section, and I got to see one for the very first time, and I was like, "Oh my god, they're like oversized cats! This is amazing."
Yeah,
these little dudes. They are little dudes.
They are
tiny little dudes.
They are little dudes. Yeah, no, St. Louis has a great zoo too. San Diego is like one of the most like known zoos in the country. St. Louis, I know, is another big one. I've never been to St. Louis, but I'm familiar with the St. Louis Zoo, and it is a good zoo, so I've heard. So I'm glad you got to see your red pandas. That's awesome. All right. Well, now, Ross, I'll answer your actual question. We had to include our special guest, okay? So hopefully that was insightful for you guys too. So how did Raichu resonate with you? So I've talked about this before. That my first persona was another Pokemon called Electrike, and the way that came about was I just liked the Pokemon. I was on Steam. I had the Pokemon, not like a persona or anything. It was just like a picture off of Google as my Steam icon, and I joined a chat room, and I thought it was like, oh, this is like you know, Pokemon fans or whatever, or something. Like, I'll join. And then I joined, and I had no idea that it was a furry chat room. And you know how furries are. If you have this icon, what are they going to do? They're going to say, this is you. You're Electrike now. And I was like, oh, well, that wasn't my intent, but okay, that's me. And if you don't know, King, you probably don't know what Electrike looks like. Let me see if I can, here, no, you can't. Oh, actually, Raichu, you have a cellular telephone. Hold on, watch this. So this is Electrike. You probably like him. He's just a little dude. He's just a little dog dude. He looks like this. My phone. There you go. Can you see him?
Where am I looking?
On the phone, on the screen. Instead of my face, I put the dude.
Let me see.
I wanted to make it very easy for you.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, he's just a little dog dude. So so that was me. It became me against my will, so to speak. So that was my introduction to the fandom. So for a few years, I was in the fandom, but kind of not really into it because I didn't really associate with the character in the sense that like I felt like it was me. It was just kind of thrust upon me, so it was me, but not really. And then just one day I decided, yo, I'm gonna make my own destiny. This is the furry fandom. You can be whatever you want to be. And you know, Raichu is kind of like a cool, you know, I'm not trying to, I'm so cool, but he's like kind of a cool, confident, like for lack of a better like way to say it, like he's like a good looking, like a lot of people really like Raichu. Like he's a likable Pokemon. He's a very popular Pokemon. People like him. People think he's good looking. He's kind of cool. He's quick. He has a lot of energy. So I said, you know, that's like what I just connected with. And I said that just like King said, red pandas are me. I said, this is kind of me. And I went with it. And then, yeah, then I felt good. And yeah, I hope that answers the question. But yeah, then, you know, years later, I jokingly at one point said that I told my friend, oh, I want to be a dragon. And then he turned my Raichu into the dragon character that you guys now see on every single stream. So that's how it kind of expanded. The dragon is technically a Raichu dragon in a way. But yeah, I just connected. Let me just reread the question to make sure how did the Pokemon Raichu resonate with you? Yeah. So basically it resonated with me. It felt like it had a lot of traits that I either would like to or that I see in myself in some aspects as well. So yeah. Yep. All right. You ready for question number 3, King? Feeling good?
Oh, yeah.
All righty. Oh, yeah, bud. All right. This is from Lang. I laughed. I don't know why I laughed. It wasn't really a funny question. Childhood / after school snacks. All right. Well, what kind of snacks did you like as a young lad, King?
Uh,
Or now? I mean, we can say, we're not in school anymore, but if there's a snack that you think is worthy of mentioning now, we can, you can say it now.
I always liked Nutella and banana sandwiches.
Oh yeah,
those are my favorite.
Mm-hmm. I get
I
down
like those
with
a
it.
lot.
Yeah, peanut butter banana. I love anything with like bananas, peanut butter, Nutella, whatever on it. Yeah, that's good stuff. I like it. I like them toasted though, preferably. I prefer.
Ooh, yeah.
I prefer it
Gotta have that
toasted versus not. Yeah, I'm kind of like weird. Like I very rarely, and there's not. I always call it raw bread. It's not really raw, but I'm not a big raw bread guy. Almost all the bread I consume needs to be toasted. For me, anyway. I like the crunch.
Are you a crust guy? Do you like the crust of the bread?
I mean, I don't know if like is the. I eat it. I'm not picking the crust off. When I was a kid, though, I did have my mom do that sometimes. But as an adult, I eat the crust. I wouldn't say it's my favorite part, though. Pizza crust. Now, that's some good crust. I do get down with some pizza crust. That's good stuff. Mm-hmm. Though people that don't eat pizza crust are the ones that concern me because that's some good stuff. That is some good stuff. Don't waste the crust, guys. So what did I like as a kid? So a combo that I always really liked as a kid, which I guess is not really weird, but I guess it was kind of weird, is eating Cheez-Its and pretzels together. So like, or even just cheese with pretzels, like something, I don't know, something about it. Like, and I guess it makes sense because like, those soft pretzels, people dip them in cheese and stuff. So like, I guess that's a common combination. But as a kid, I was like, whoa, why do I like eating these two things together so much? But I guess it is probably more common. But as a kid, I just thought I was a freak and like, this is the weirdest food combination ever. But definitely that's a good combo. It hits good.
I'll have to try that. I don't think I've done that before.
It's a good combo. I assume you've probably at some point eaten like soft pretzels with cheese. So I mean, I guess it's kind of the same. Like dipping your soft pretzel in cheese. You're next to Wisconsin; they got good cheese there. Are you how would you rate your love of cheese on a scale of 1 to 10, King? What is your cheese level?
If it did come to the day where I was lactose intolerant,
I'm about to
still suffer for my.
I'm about to love this guy's answer. Yes, I was nervous for a second. I thought he was going to be, well, I'm not the biggest. Oh, thank goodness. All right. Thank goodness. All right. Yeah, cheese all day, baby. Cheese and crackers.
Cheesy boy.
I guess you like wine. Some cheese and crackers with your wine. Now that's a good combo. Let me disclaim this. This is not a childhood RaichuU snack. This is an adult RaichuU snack. Okay.
Cheese and wine.
Though cheese and crackers was good as a kid.
That sparkling juice.
That grape juice. Yeah. When you're a kid and you think your parents are like, here, you can have some champagne for New Year's, and you're like, cool, yeah. I'm so cool. Cheese and crackers, I did like it as a kid, and I do like it as an adult, admittedly. I buy cheese online sometimes from this place in Wisconsin to get the good, like, 17-year aged cheddar, which is just,
whoa.
Very good.
Fancy.
Very good. It's good. I like my cheese. You can try some someday with some RaichuU wine.
Yeah. But right now, I get mine from a private seller.
Called whatever grocery store you have there.
Yeah,
I was gonna name
my man. Love my man Sargento. Shout out to Sargento.
Hey, Sargento is good stuff.
Shout out to Sargento.
I like my Sargento. I get down with it. No, there's a lot of good cheese out there. And to be fair, that's more of a special treat. Okay, I'm not balling enough to import my cheese from Wisconsin all the time, but I definitely do on occasion. And I'll make sure you get to try some 17-year aged cheddar someday, King. It will change your life. It's good stuff.
Let's go. One of my dreams is to buy a wheel of cheese.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like the giant wheels that are like $1,000 or something, or more.
Yeah. Let's go subathon. Let's go.
All right.
Let's raise that money.
Just gotta do it at a con. Everyone chips in like $20 with 50 of your friends. Bam! Sounds like a good time. Alrighty, guys. We are here with question number 4, and I think this will be This will be a question you like. This is a question I'm excited for. So this says from the username, definitely not Pixel. So, all right, not Pixel. Got it. Thanks, not Pixel, for the question that is vaguely or oddly specific to something that Pixel would ask. So, what a coincidence. The question says music plus physical music collection. So, do you have vinyls, CDs, anything like that that you happen to collect? Any game soundtracks, anything worthwhile of sharing that you'd like to talk
Um,
about?
I think majority of the stuff that I do have, if there are vinyls, it's more of like oldies music. Um,
Mhm.
uh,
That's cool though. Yeah,
a
no,
lot of
yeah,
jazz, a lot of jazz records that I would have, but I don't have too many that are like newer per
yeah,
se. Like there's like the occasional like indie band that will be like, oh, we released our album on a cassette tape, and I'm like, oh, cool, word. Um, but uh, but beyond that, I think a lot of my music is more so owned digitally.
yep,
Um, or if they were in like a CD uh, like holder, um, then it's like a mixture of like the stuff that my parents would listen to, and
yeah,
I got it from like the attic.
right,
I used to have a bunch of CDs in my possession, but unfortunately, there was a time where I was moving, and I actually had lost a large portion of not just my music collection, but also my video game collection. Um, it as the moving company just lost it somehow, so it probably dwindled my collection by like a good like 50 to 60% of stuff, which is unfortunate because there's a lot of like really cool stuff that I loved
yeah,
from there. But yeah, majority of my stuff here is really just all digital. But I really should fix that. I should change that because I there's a time probably when
yeah,
files get corrupted or
yeah,
your license to own these things are expired or whatever,
yeah,
and I won't be able to listen to it anymore if they're stuck on a hard drive that I can't access because it's
exactly.
broken. Well, as if I have a CD disc or like a record, as long as I take care of it,
Yeah,
there's always potential of me still being able to enjoy that content.
definitely. All right. Yeah, no, I definitely understand the appeal of digital media. It is very appealing. For me, well, first off, guys, fear not, because we're gonna help King rebuild that collection. I've already told him before, so we're gonna help him rebuild that collection because that's a travesty. I had heard that story before, but don't worry, guys, we're gonna help him do it. But yeah, no, I have, and you probably would love looking at my vinyls because I have a lot of jazz and older stuff too. So you would probably love looking through them. I have a lot of vinyls, some of which are mine. I did a lot of thrifting for vinyls, like cool old records. Paying $1 or whatever for them. Why not? Um, when my grandpa passed away in 2014, he was in a state of he got cancer, and it was like okay, you're going to be gone in less than a year. So he thankfully had time to settle all his affairs, and he knew I was super into vinyls, so he gave me his collection as well. So I had that benefit. I have his vinyls as well, so that helped expand my collection and something that I can look back on and remember him. So I do have a lot of vinyls, and I love listening to vinyls. I mean, I just got the Wildlife one. Um, I love listening to vinyls. I have some really special albums to me on vinyls that I love listening to. There's just a different vibe when you have friends over and you pop a record on. I don't know why. It really does hit different versus pulling up YouTube on your, because for me, like in my living room, I have a PC hooked up to the TV, so I can easily, if we want to listen to a song, I could pull it up on YouTube. But it does it hits different playing like a record for me anyway. It's really nice to pop on a record, especially for something special. Um, so yeah, for me, definitely, I'm super into that. Have a lot of records. Have a decent amount of video game records as well, which I probably, if I had read the questions ahead of time, which I didn't because I wanted to keep them, a surprise for us, I would have brought them upstairs. But I have a decent amount of video game vinyls. I have the Banjo Kazooie set. I love Banjo Kazooie. I have the Celeste set. I have Undertale one, a Deltarune one. I have. I'm just trying to name off all the ones. Earthbound, some Donkey Kong Country ones. Let me think of anything else noteworthy that you guys would like to know about. No, that's probably about it. And I also have a lot of CDs, which if you guys can see behind me, there's a shelf. It's right there back in the corner. That little shelf right there is all CDs. And yeah, there's a lot of different video game stuff. Like, let me just pull a couple CDs off there. Well, this is what I saw first, and it's actually appropriate. Your friend was playing this, so I have like all these .hack. Actually, this is fun. All right, guys, my stuff broke, but fear not. We're here, and the old recording lasted, so no problem. It wouldn't be a rai-based anything if there weren't technical issues, so it's all good. But I was able to grab some more CDs, so I was showing off, before we died, I was showing off, yeah, we got these .hacks, we've got the Final Fantasy, another Final Fantasy. I know you didn't like the games too much, but the Final Fantasy 1 and 2 soundtrack is a soundtrack I like.
They're so great. Absolutely.
Yeah. We've got this. I haven't listened to this, but I have this Video Games Live CD, and the very first track on it says Kingdom Hearts. So I have no idea what it is, but
I love that track entitled Kingdom Hearts.
I mean, you know, I think I'll just not listen to this, and then someday we can listen to it together and hear it in person once I beat Kingdom Hearts someday.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you're a fan of Dragon Quest. I love Dragon Quest games. This is a great little soundtrack.
But I should.
Dragon Quest V, one of my favorite games. I mean, look, it's got a little King Panda TM Meow Meow on there.
Whoa!
Just like the one I beat up yesterday.
Wow.
I had to do it. I had to do it to him. But yeah, so basically, to sum it up, I love. You know, I love physical media in all forms. I have a lot of horror DVDs because that's my favorite genre. And this is unrelated to the question, but I have a lot of horror DVDs and VHSs because that's my favorite genre of movies. As everyone in the world knows, I have like 3,000 plus video games, and I have a lot of vinyl CDs and etc. as well. Is there any other media? Books. I have a lot of strategy guides. I love strategy guides, so those are cool too. Some art books and stuff. So I like all kinds of. Whoa. I like all kinds of, yeah, there's plenty to see here. But yeah, I like all kinds of physical media. It's nice to have. And yeah, like, you know, for me, I always think about it like someday I'm going to be like an old grandpa wanting to sit like in a cabin in the mountains, just chilling, and I'll have my physical media that I can enjoy, you know, even if I'm not, you know, on the internet or whatever. So it's nice. It's comforting for me to have all this because someday, you know, now in this day and age, yeah, we have access to everything, blah, blah, blah. But I guess for me, I feel comfort knowing that someday, even if the internet is in it different, you know, stuff's lost, etc., I'll still have access to a lot of cool stuff. So that fills my heart with comfort, I guess. But yeah. Anything you wanted to add, King?
It sounds like I need to up my game with collecting stuff.
There's some cool CDs out there. You know, I used to go to this you might have heard of the chain before. It's a chain store called Book Off. There's not a whole lot in the United States, but it's big in Japan. So they have basically everything, like movies, music, games. Like I buy a lot of games there, but I also bought a lot of my soundtracks, like game soundtracks there, and it's a treasure trove of like rare cool CDs from Japan of like Final Fantasy soundtracks and stuff, like all kinds of cool stuff. You would love to check it out. It's a lot of cool stuff. And that's kind of how I built mine. And you know, I don't know, like there's I imagine you might agree, there's definitely something different about buying that kind of stuff in person versus online. Like I could go online on eBay and type in Final Fantasy CD and find stuff. But it's so fun to be at a store and like, I mean, I can remember the day that I found this CD. It still has the wrap. It's like they have a specific type of plastic wrap they use. It still has it on there. And like, I remember the day I found this and I'm like, oh, I love those games. Like those are great soundtracks. Like I'm going to buy this, like just impulsively, like seeing it and being like, that's really cool. Like I want that. So it's fun. I mean, it's kind of, I guess it's similar to how we all end up, you know, going to furry cons and ending up in the artist alley. And we didn't necessarily have an idea we were going to buy this thing, but you see the thing and you're like, I'm buying the thing.
Yeah.
So
yeah, or also with games, like, you know, you can get a game digitally off of Steam or whatever. and like that's one thing because like, oh, I bought it and I can play it
Yeah.
instantly, launch it, whatever. I liked I liked when I would go to the store with my
Yep.
parents,
Mm-hmm.
and we'd pick out a game, and then on the car ride home, I would
You're
just
looking
like
at the
read the back
manual.
of the box.
Mm-hmm. Or
Yeah,
the yeah,
reading the
or the yeah.
manual, do that over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
It felt more special to me that
It
way.
is, yeah.
I like that.
And that's the joy of physical game preservation, for me. Like, for example, let me just like, my favorite game of all time, Chrono Trigger. Like, I can look at this and just remember when I was a kid seeing this box art, reading the back. I have the manuals here too.
Whoa.
Like, and Chrono Trigger doesn't screw around. It has this manual is 79 pages. It's not a little wimpy manual. It's a thick boy.
Whoa.
So yeah, like, I mean, this has wear, like you can see the creases in it, but I've had it since I was a little kid. It also has my favorite video game character of all time, and kind of my furry awakening, if we're honest. But yeah, no, it's that's why I love it, because like I can look through this manual here as an adult and be teleported back to when I was a kid looking through this, and just like, yeah, just look at this art and it makes me happy. I can enjoy the game anytime on Steam. There's a great version on Steam, and I do play it on the Steam version. It's probably the best way to play it. But it doesn't hit like holding this box in my hand and just like feeling happiness, which I think you can relate to, sounds like. So definitely. All right, Pixel, thanks for the question. I know we strayed a bit there from music, but I'm very passionate about physical anything collecting. So yeah, I use the opportunity to tangent, but yeah, thanks, King, for your input as well.
Oh, of course.
All right, question number 5 from Ethan. Hi, Ethan. Thoughts on practicing makes perfect? That's an interesting question. King, do you want to lead us into this?
I mean, it's a very wide.
It is
range of answers.
I've got some interesting things I can say about it, but I'm a gentleman. I'll let you go first. But
I mean, practice does make perfect, no matter where it is that it's being applied to. To me, it's something that I always apply to creation on things like when I'm doing 3D model customization work on Unity or on Blender, or if I'm playing my instruments, or if I'm getting into when I got into streaming and I didn't know how to interact with people, I didn't know how to do a stream, I didn't know how to make videos.
Yep.
It's that repetition. You're going to do trial and error constantly, and eventually you're going to pick it up. Just like how if you play an instrument, say a guitar or a ukulele, you'll build that finger strength, you'll build those calluses on you, so that way you'll find yourself being able to play, a little bit easier. You'll have that memorization for, placement on how to play chords, or getting into streams. Over time, you'll start to feel more confident, and you'll know how to like communicate with the chat community or anything like that. Or it really does work. But I think what happens too is that a lot of people get they kind of lose their drive and motivation when they're not seeing results as fast as they want to. And that can be like a run killer for
Yeah.
a lot of things. But do know, as you put the time and effort into these things, they will pay off. It might not be immediate, but over time, it will show. And then you'll be like, for a moment in the future, you'll do something. You'll be like, whoa, you know what? Like a year ago, if I tried to do what I'm doing now, I wouldn't know what I was doing. And I'm now look at me. So that's what I think. I think definitely practice makes perfect is very, very true. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. So I have a lot to say, actually, and King gave me some good things to say based on what he said there. So number one, I will say he made a comment about people get discouraged that the progress is not fast enough. And that's definitely a big thing. It's I talked about it in one of my I don't know what we're calling them, my just chatting streams in the last 2 weeks. I talked about comparing yourself to others, where you need to be it's important to have self-awareness of where you are and that you can appreciate yourself even if you're not there. There's no let me think how you don't lose value because you are not as good as someone else at something. And you don't have to ever be as good as them. You don't need to compare yourself to others in that regard. You know, everyone has their own strengths, and yeah, basically that's the death of practice makes perfect is you comparing yourself to others. Like, you have to be the best you, and that's kind of what it comes down to. You can try things, but you have to be aware that you know, you can't be the best at everything. So you can try things. For example, a great example for me, a lot of my life I've spent, I have skills at certain things. I think I'm good at streaming, content creation, stuff like that, poker, all those things. But I've started doing those so long ago that they're second nature to me. They're just easy. I don't think about streaming, any of that stuff. I've been streaming for 15 years now, basically. So for me, it's second nature. I don't think about it. But for example, like King inspired me to start playing the ukulele like a few weeks ago. And like, that's something that I had never, ever done and wanted to try. And I started from the very beginning, and it was something new for me, trying something like completely out of my wheelhouse, because, you know, there's a difference between, oh, I'm going to make YouTube videos, but I stream, but those are kind of similar things, right? Like, you can use some of the same skills, so it's not as big of a leap. But going from the stuff that I'm good at to music is completely unrelated. So for me, yeah, like King is saying, like, I've only been playing for 3 weeks now. And I'm definitely, you know, if I compared myself to King Panda or Yasha or anyone else, any other musician that I know a lot of talented musicians. If I compared myself to any of them, I would feel like crap. I'd be like, damn, I suck. But I don't. Like, that's the thing, right? Like, I've been playing for 3 weeks. When I pick up my ukulele every day, like, I'm amazed. Like, I know where my fingers go here. I remember how to play this song. Like, I know these chords. Like, there, it is in my brain. And I'm impressed with myself, just the basic stuff, like I know where I remember this chord, and like I always stress, like that was one of the things, like I'll go to sleep and I'll stress like, oh God, I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and I'm not gonna remember. But then I wake up and I remember, and I'm just like, yeah, like it's not easy, obviously, but like this is easy. Like I remember where to hold my fingers for this chord or whatever, and it's like, and that's kind of the thing, right? Like I don't need to compare myself to anyone else. For my own comparing myself to myself, I'm a hell of a lot better 3 weeks ago when I couldn't play a single chord or even know how to hold the ukulele or even know how to tune the ukulele to do anything. So it's all about comparing yourself to, you know, compare yourself to where you've been. You don't need to compare yourself to anyone else, because like, you know, I can just, you know, from a basic perspective, I'm sure I know for me, there's many things that like that King does better than me, and that like maybe I could look up to him at doing those things, but maybe there's ways he can look up to me. So it's like, there's a thing of like, we all have different things we're good at, and, you know, we can practice at them and we can expand our horizons and try new things, but you don't need to say, I'm not as good at King Panda at this thing, so I suck, I guess. No, it's like, you're doing your own thing. He's doing his own thing. You know, we're all good at different things. We're all at different levels on different things. Again, just compare yourself to yourself, really. Be the best you that you can be. You don't need to be anyone else. You know, I can say, you know, when we're talking about the practice makes perfect, I've seen the old King Panda clips where he's kind of like timid, like a little nervous, maybe a little more quiet on his streams. And now I watch King Panda streams, and he is one of the most charming, charismatic, like really well put together, holds down his stream super well. Like, and that's an area where I feel like I'm strong in. So like for me, like, that's something I'm, you know, like, I don't, if I see like a super technical stream, I can't really critique that. I'm like, I don't know if that's freaking hard to do or what, but like, I can say from just like being charming, charismatic, and like a good energy on the stream, King crushes it. And I'm sure, I mean, I didn't know him 2, 3, however many years ago, but I can say now, like, he crushes it. And for me, that's motivation for me. Like, for in other aspects of my life that maybe right now I'm not like the best at, but like, I can see in a couple years how good he is now. Like, shit, if I'm that good, if I'm as good as I think he is at streaming, if I'm that good at the ukulele in like 2 years, like, holy shit, like, I'll be amazing. So yeah, I think that's a good way to look at it, is like, you know, we're all struggling in life. You might, and people tell me all the time, RaichuU, you have it so together. You're so good, and you're this guy, and you have everything together. But like, no, like we all have our own struggles in life. We're all working hard at stuff, but we're all struggling with stuff too. Like, and we're all just doing our best at everything we do. So it's like, that's all you can do. Practice, try, and you won't be amazing at everything. Unfortunately, that would be cool. But that's also kind of the fun. That's kind of the fun in that, like, it's fun to be kind of vulnerable and like, like I'm just doing my best. I'm just trying. Like, I can't do like, I made my own subathon. This is something I talked about. I made my own subathon schedule this year, and I'm not a graphic designer by any means. It's not something I'm good at. Like, trust me, I know it looked like trash, but I did it myself. I tried. It's something I wanted to do. So I said, you know what? I'm going to try to do it. I could have asked someone to help me with it, but I said, no, this is something I want to try. I'm going to try it. And it wasn't great, but that's okay because I tried. I liked it. And next time I do it, I'll probably be even better at it and working from there and continuing on. And yeah, if I compare myself to a professional graphic designer, I'm going to feel like crap. But comparing myself to when I'd never done it, hey, I learned a few things along the way. And next time I do it, it'll probably be easier and it'll be a little faster and I'll do it a little bit better. And that's all you can really hope for is like, just keep working at it. And, just to also comment, like, practice makes perfect it's not true in the sense that you'll never be perfect at anything, but practice does, it fosters improvement. Practice fosters improvement. That's not as catchy as practice makes perfect, but it does foster improvement in the sense that, yeah, you're just getting better. Like, I've been streaming for 15 years. Is there a lot of stuff I could still do better on stream? Abso-freaking-lutely. But you know what? I'm a lot more confident than I was 15 years ago trying to learn how to talk to people live. So you know what? It's just, you just keep working at it. No one will ever be perfect at it, at anything. I've been playing poker my whole life, and there's still like a billion poker players better than me. But like, yeah, it's just learn a little bit, practice a little bit, do a little better, and enjoy yourself. And don't compare yourself to others. That's really the key. A lot of people, and it hurts me when I see people compare themselves to others, like, oh, I'm not as good, because I've talked about it in the stream too, and I'm sorry, we're kind of getting off on a different tangent, but like people are really hard on themselves, and it's like, everyone's good at their own things. We all have strengths, and I don't care what anyone says. There's always the people, I'm not good at anything. You are definitely good at something, and I guarantee any person I picked off of, like, I was going to say the street, but like any person I picked off of a Discord server or a stream or anywhere, like, there's definitely things I would look up to them for. And I appreciate people always say, oh, I look up to you, RaichuU, for all these things. But like, I guarantee every single person out there has something that I would look up to them for. And we're all just doing our best. And yeah, sorry, I got on a very, very passionate tangent there. King, no, anything you wanted to add?
No, I think you're pulling up some really good points there. I mean, as you mentioned, no one's ever really perfect at anything. There's never a point when you're learning something and you're like at the end of it.
Yeah,
and
never.
You're like, okay, that's it. Never. We're done. Everybody has something that they can improve on.
Yep.
No matter at what level of mastery that they're at whatever it is. Everyone starts somewhere. It's okay to look towards others who have experience in certain things that you're interested in maybe joining into, whether it be streaming or music or learning
art,
a new hobby, arts, or anything like that. It's okay to look up to experienced individuals who have been doing that, because then you can learn something from it. But definitely don't sit there and be like, oh man, I'll never be as good as them. Well, I mean, they didn't do that overnight, so I can guarantee you, if you ask them, they can probably pull up some pretty rough work at the very beginning.
You want to watch my YouTube videos from 2006?
Everybody starts somewhere. I have my own rough starts. I initially got into reworking avatars and 3D models on my own because I couldn't sit down and afford paying someone, this high amount of money for, professional work to be done or anything like that. So I was like, you know what? Let me see what I can do about it. And was it good? Oh no. No, 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 it was not. It wasn't good at all. But now, over countless hours of learning new things, I've worked on over 30 to 40 different models, to even the point where I've taken on commissions to help work on models also. And even gotten to the point where like I'm streaming me working on
Yeah.
these models too, adjusting them and retexturing them, adding animations to them, doing this and that. Or even we're learning something new on stream
Yep.
midway through, and you can see me like lose my mind as I'm doing it. So everyone's learning at something constantly. It's it's interesting. So don't ever think that you're not good enough or anything like that. It's just a matter of just practice. You'll see that improvement over time, and really don't try to don't be trying to compare yourself to others. It's not. It's going to cause a lot of stress. I fall into that a lot. It's never to say that I've never done that. I do sometimes get into my own head when I'm looking at um, stats for certain things or my progress over whether it be music, model creation, streams, contents, anything really. I'll have those days where I'm like, you know what, I don't think that I'm doing as well as I want to. But then what's great is have an amazing support group, whether it be your friends, your family. Um, Looking at the accomplishments that you have made, right? You'll look back at it and be like, oh, there was an improvement there. It might not, if it's not to where you're wanting to reach these like really, really high expectations, that's okay. Any improvement will really help
Yep.
in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. And I think that's a great point that you brought up about modeling on stream, because when you're not as experienced, or I don't want to say good, you're good at that, but like, you know what I mean? Like when you're not as experienced, like doing something on stream, like I feel nerve when I bust out, I do it confidently. Like, yeah, let's bust out the uke and play Happy Birthday. But like, I'm fucking nervous. Are you kidding me? Like I can stream, but I can't play dang music on stream. So yeah, no, I think that's a good attitude to have. Like, let's try it together. Like, let's do it. And that's kind of why I had that attitude of let's play a birthday song on the uke on stream, even though it's out of my comfort zone. Like, let's try it. If I fail, we'll fail together. If it sounds horrible, well, we did it together at least, like we tried. So I think that's a great attitude. And yeah, just to kind of emphasize what King said as well, I want to make this point again, because people look at me and they say, wow, RaichuUu's so confident. It's easy for him to say he has confidence. Like, it's so easy. We all get in our own heads. I can't tell you, every day I have an existential crisis. Am I good enough at this? Do people actually like me? Like, am I like, like everything about life. Like, I am the most confident person that many people come across. And, I do give off that aura, and I try to give off that aura. And I am a confident person, but we all get in our own heads. I can't tell you how many times just today I probably thought, damn, I'm not very good at that. Do people like me? Do people want to hang out with me? Like it is just a normal thing. We all get in our own heads. And so I just want to emphasize that it is normal. And if you're inside your own head a lot like that, it is perfectly normal. And you're not broken. And it's not, oh, I'm not as confident as RaichuUuu, so I can't do it. It's not like that at all. We all get in our own heads, and you just have to kind of battle through that sometimes. And utilize, like King said, those support groups of the people that love you and care about you. And, we're all in our own heads. King told me, oh, I suck at ukulele. And then he sent me like the most beautiful, like amazing song. So, we all doubt ourselves sometimes. And it's okay. It's okay. We all do it. We all do it. I've definitely, I promise you, as a poker player, that's a great example. In poker, right? A lot of the time, like, you're playing poker tournaments, and in poker, you lose probably 80 to 90% of the time. And then that 10%, you win a lot. So you lose a lot of the time. And then you have good, like, strong placements in a few tournaments, and that's how you make money, right? But 80 or 90% of the time, when I'm in those losing tournaments, I'm washed. I'm done. I'm the worst ever. I can never play again. Why am I even here? I'm horrible. But you have to, and that's a big thing about poker, is you have to be able to, like keep your mental game strong enough to be able to say like, I'm not washed every time that you don't win, because you will lose most of the time, and then you make up for it with some big wins. So that's just how it goes. So yeah, it's basically it applies to life as well, right? You're gonna punch yourself like oh, does X like me? Do they want to? Is this person really my friend? Like, do they like me, or am I actually good at the uke? Do people actually like my posts on Twitter? Do people like my art? Do people like my music? Do people like my streaming? Do they like my videos? Like, you're gonna have those little jabs at yourself, but you just have to kind of overcome them and just like see the bigger picture, I guess. Take a step back sometimes. I talked about that a lot in the stream. Take a step back, and it's easy to say like, oh, these people probably don't like my stream, and then you take a step back and you go, they've come to every stream of mine for like the past 6 months. Like, clearly they like my stream and I'm doing something right because they want to be here, right? It's easy to say in the moment, well, I freaking suck and they probably don't like me, they're just being nice. But like, when you take a step back, it's very easy to negate yourself and say like, oh, they're probably saying nice things about me just because they're being nice. But then you take a step back and you have to kind of just like realize like, no, like maybe I'm worth more than I think I am. Vivi, Black Mage. You haven't played Final Fantasy IX, but Vivi is a Black Mage.
No, but I do know Vivi because of Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, good.
So I will say that.
I'm excited for you to play Final Fantasy IX. Not Kingdom Hearts 9. That doesn't exist. What is the 9th Kingdom Hearts game in the timeline? I don't know. I'm not quizzing you. You don't have to tell me, but if you want to, you can. All right. Yeah, but really, we're all hard on ourselves. Even the most, I promise you, and this is me being vulnerable with you guys. Many people compliment my confidence and stuff in life. I promise you, I am just as vulnerable as the rest of you, and I feel bad about myself. And I think to myself, no one likes me, and I'm not good at streaming. I'm not good at poker. What am I even good at? I'm horrible. Like, I have those same thoughts as any of you guys do, and it's okay to have those thoughts. And we're all hard on ourselves, and we're all fighting a battle. Life is a battle. So I guess a little deeper maybe than the question was intended to be, but we are. So we are all hard on ourselves, and we should be a little nicer to ourselves. It's something I think everyone can strive for. So I hope you guys will do that. Those of you listening, and you, King, you're amazing. So
that's you. You're also amazing.
Thank you. Please. I appreciate it. All right. Do you want a breather since that was a long one, or do you want to do another question? We're on number 6 right now.
I think we're good to go.
All right.
Let's continue on.
Number 6. From Ethan again. All right, this is a great one for King, actually. I'm really looking forward to King's answer on this, and we kind of just talked about it, but I'll answer myself as well. How were you like on your first stage of streaming compared to now? And I'm going to answer for King as well when he's done, just to make sure he's generous enough with himself. But go ahead, sir.
Getting into streaming, I was extremely shy, very timid. I had thought that I needed to do a million things at once. I needed to be entertaining. I needed to focus on playing the game good enough. I needed to say hi to whoever was going to come in, if anyone came in, and like, how do I retain them if they said like a single like emote, and there would be periods of time where I was like, I'm playing a game, I'm having a good time, I'm focused, and I'm like, oh my god, it's been like 5 seconds and I haven't said anything yet. I don't know what to say. My streams were filled with a lot of ums and ahs. I mean, they're still littered throughout my streams nowadays, but it was pretty rough. It was pretty rough back then. But since then, it's been a matter of really enjoying myself in my games, having communicate like conversations with certain topics that I can really go on the tangents with, stuff that I like to talk about, whether it be game developments, oh, this is why I like this thing in this game, or little trivia about games, music, or past experiences and such like that. It just feels like it's a lot easier now for me to engage with the community than it was back then, because I think I was trying to be something that I wasn't. it was trying to be this like entertainer, when in reality I just really needed to just be myself, play the games that I want to play, and try not to chase after something. Because I definitely felt like if I were to look back at my old streams, if someone did pop into a chat for like a few seconds, I felt like a car salesman, like a used car
Yeah.
salesman. They would come in and I'd be like, "Hey, how's it going here? What, you want to stick around for a little bit? You're sticking around here. Don't leave. Don't leave." But but now it's more so if someone comes in, we talk about a game where we were doing like a challenge run. I'm like, "Hey, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it. Hope you enjoy your time here. If you want to, chat about some games or stick around for the vibes or whatever, feel free to. I'm happy to see you here. That's nowadays that's how it goes. I've become a lot more calmer with it. If they want to stay, they want to stay. If
Yep.
they don't, then hey, that's okay.
You can't make them.
Yeah, you can't make them.
It's just like anything in life. You can't, if someone doesn't want to be around you, you can't make them. So it's like, if they want to be around me, awesome. If they don't, then, no, that's okay,
Yeah, yeah. I think with the time the difference between when I first got into streams and then to now, I've definitely developed um this different like sense of how I present myself on these broadcasts. Now when I'm doing a broadcast, it's not like okay, I'm trying to get this many followers, so I need to do this thing, and then that will reward me with this thing. Now it's like I'm gonna go live because
because I want to.
I'm gonna do this thing. I want to play this game. We'll have some laughs. We'll have some fun, and we'll see what happens from there. I never go into streams now. I never go into streams expecting anything except for having a good time and getting to see the community members that do reappear in the chat. Ask them about their day, because it has gotten to a point where like I do look forward to the streams because I look forward to seeing everybody.
Yep. 100%.
And it can be a double-edged sword when I get to that kind of state, because then if I take breaks, if I go on vacation, if I leave for like a few days to me, as a streamer, feels like 10 years.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm gone for so long. I'm so sorry. I don't know what's happening. But it does brighten my day when I get to go live and I get to see everybody.
Yeah, I really relate to that. I say it all the time, and I don't know if you've heard me say it before, but like from Thursday, I stream on Tuesdays and Thursdays, usually not weekends. So it's usually that gap from Thursday to Tuesday. I come back on Tuesday. I'm like, wow, guys, it's been like 1,000 years since I've seen you. Like, this is so long. It feels like an eternity. I'm like, wow, guys, like I have not seen you in so long. Like, so when you said that, I 100% relate to that. And that's not even counting, you know me, I haven't taken the days I've taken off in the last 5 years of streaming on Twitch are very minimal, but it always feels weird when I do. Definitely. So I definitely relate to that. Sorry, I just wanted to chime in on that. What you said about that few days being an eternity, because I 100% related to that.
Yeah, it's something that's it's interesting because I don't know, like when I first got into streams, I was in a very much different state of mind at that point. I was on the cusp of giving up gaming entirely. So broadcasting my games was like the final attempt to like recapture that spark of enjoyment in games.
Yep.
And it just started by me just going live, playing the thing that I liked to play, and in which case my comfort games would be Final Fantasy X or Kingdom Hearts. Yep. And I didn't really have anyone to communicate with on those games.
Right.
When I was growing up, it was like everyone in school was all
FIFA,
about
FIFA. Sorry guys, I've heard this story.
Call of Duty, all that stuff. So I didn't really have someone that was like a fan of the games that I liked. So I didn't know how to communicate with those people. Yep. So the moment that I saw somebody on Twitch come in and be like, "Oh man, I love this part of this game," and I'd be like,
"You know this?
you know this?" like, okay, then it's like, then it was like, okay, but do you like, is it like you know it and like
Yeah.
it's kind of cool, or are you like, you know,
Are you
this? 'Cause if
super
you-
into it?
yeah, because if you're super into it,
Oh, I'm hitting you up.
sit down because we're gonna, yeah, come right
Yeah.
here.
Uh-huh.
We're gonna have a conversation.
Yep.
And it was just that excitement, and then
It is really fun.
and then I fall into the pit of I go on tangents now.
Yeah.
So I'll find myself, you know, playing a game, but the reality is like I'm just talking for like 45 minutes. My character isn't moving. I'm on the pause screen. I've sometimes had people be like, can you do something in the game in the meantime too while you're doing this? Yeah. I was like, we're gonna play this game. We're gonna make progress. I probably moved like maybe a level, like a one room over, and the rest was just me like blabbering. But I've enjoyed having that like sense of confidence that I've built over the time that I have done Twitch, to where like I can do that. Because before I would speak for like maybe a minute and I'd be like, oh man, I'm talking for like way too long. I need to shut up.
Yeah.
And now it's like, no, wait, no, because I was like, no, I have something to say. I can communicate with this, and I know that the people who are showing up, they're expressing like actual interest in my responses.
Yep.
And I'm not used to that.
Yeah.
I'm not used to people asking my opinion on things, or what are my answers on certain stuff. So like I always felt hesitant. I was like very much like a, what do you think about this? And it's like,
you want my opinion?
Yeah,
no,
like,
and
it's okay.
Even on my stream yesterday, people were asking you questions and stuff in the chat. So like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the same kind of thing. And then that's kind of how I felt when people were asking you questions. I'm like, yeah, they really like his opinion on stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's definitely changed my life for the better. There's a lot of positives that has come out from me getting into streams to now, and I wouldn't change those. I wouldn't exchange those experiences for anything ever. It's really shaped me since I got into Twitch.
Yeah,
so that's my answer for that.
That's a great answer. And yeah, I mean, just again from my perspective, like I didn't watch your stream 2 years ago. So how long was it over? Was it a little more than 2 years now, or how long ago exactly? Before I get into what I was gonna say.
I believe
over 2, less than 3. Is that where we're at, or
over? I think we're about 3.
Oh, okay.
A little bit over 3 years now.
Okay.
Because it used to start off with a lot of like, there's a stream here, but then there wasn't a stream for like a few months.
Right.
And then there was another stream here, and then there wasn't. It was on and off for a bit.
Yeah.
And I think that was back in December of either 2021 or maybe even a little bit earlier than that. It was back and forth. Which I didn't know anything about bit rate. I didn't know anything about, good audio quality or anything like. I was used to doing all that in post editing.
Yep. Right. As a YouTuber,
live.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So my videos, my streams back then looked like a large like pixelated slideshow.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how to react to anything. But no, it's taught me a lot of skills since then.
Absolutely.
I would have never have gotten into Unity or Blender or anything like that. Expressed my interest into learning what kind of equipments that I could end up doing or getting in order to help improve streams. The dual PC setup thing that I have now. You asked me, you tell me those years ago that I would have 2 PCs that operate to help broadcast like a singular stream. I'd be like, why the hell would I want to get 2 PCs for? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Well, now it makes sense to me that I can create this and be able to effectively do more on my streams that normally would have set my computer on fire. It's insane the amount of stuff that I've learned since then.
Yeah. So I realized that I should be taking notes while you're talking, because you brought up so many things, and I'm gonna try to remember everything I need to say right now because you just mentioned like 50 things that were great points that I wanna go on to as well. But first, I mean, I know I say it 1,000 times, I say it all the time, but like your improvement, and again, I haven't watched your streams from 3 years ago. All I've seen is clips and how they are. But like your improvement in this last 3 years, like I can openly compliment you and say like in 3 years you've made greater strides than me in 3 years, like for sure. Like seeing that to now, like and again, this is an area I'm confident, like I can't really talk about like from like a technical perspective, oh, people have all these cool effects and stuff, like I don't understand that. But from like a composure, like charisma, charm, like all that stuff that you can't teach, like you knock it out of the park. Like that was the first thing I noticed, and that's what kept me coming back, is like you absolutely crushed that. Like your presence on the stream, like it is inspiring. Like that's what I try to that's like my strength as well. So like seeing you like knock it out of the park all the time is like a joy. Like it's super, like I don't look away because like your presence on the stream is just like very charismatic. Like you keep me engaged just by being you. And I think that's really, really cool. So yeah, I mean, again, I didn't watch your streams from 3 years ago, but I can confidently say like it is super impressive. And like if you, I would never have known that there was a day where you weren't like this, like insanely charismatic presence on stream. If you told me like I was always like this, I would have been like, oh, yeah, makes sense. You know, that's you. So I would never have believed it. So yeah, you knock it out of the park in that regard. So if that, I mean, that is what you were going for. So I think it's great. And I think, you know, it's also a sign that you can clearly see when you're on my stream, the chat is asking you questions and like super engaged with interacting with you and like hearing your thoughts on things. And yeah, I mean, I am amazed that there was ever a time where King Panda didn't feel like he could talk and engage people, because yeah, that you're incredibly engaging. So yeah. So that was unrelated. Now I guess I have to talk about myself, guys. I'm really good at talking about King Panda, but I don't know if I'm good at talking about myself. But I guess we'll do it a two-parter, right? Because I started 15 years ago on a little website called Blog TV. And that was like one of the first streaming sites. So for me, it was a pretty easy transition because I transitioned from starting doing my YouTube stuff in 2006 to around, it was probably like 2008, probably not even 2009. It was probably like 2008 when like live streaming was just kind of happening. And I said, I'll try it. You know, I have this YouTube audience. They watch me. I talk to them. We interact. Where it's a lot like my community is now, where I had fans, so to speak, but we're really friends. Like my community is fans of me, but we're all friends. Like I hang out with them. Like we're pals, you know? So it's the same kind of thing back in the day. So it was very easy for me to start streaming. It was these people I already talked to on voice calls, on chats. They commented on my videos. Like we already had a relationship. It was very easy for me to hit go live and just talk to them. It was super easy for me. So I didn't struggle with that kind of lack of, I mean, I don't know. Don't get me wrong. They probably sucked in terms of quality. In fact, I promise you they sucked in terms of quality, but me, I was all right. But the technical aspects, yeah, they were awful. So we'll catapult. You know, I did that for a while. I did some Picardo streams for a while, but we'll catapult to 2019 when I started doing Twitch. And yeah, I mean, it was different for me in the sense that when I started Twitch, I didn't have an audience. When I did my blog TV streams back in the day, I already had an established YouTube audience. I would have like 50 viewers. It was better than I even have now on Twitch. So I had plenty of viewers back in the day. So that was new. Twitch was new for me because there was maybe a couple people. And before even Chili Mex and Leo and all those original people that are like still there in 2020, they all came around in 2020. That's when I kind of started growing. But like in 2019, it would be like maybe Toshabi and maybe like one other friend if I was lucky. And it's just like King said, like seeing any viewer was like, holy crap. I remember the first time I hit double-digit viewers from a raid, I thought I was going to have a heart attack because like I didn't have that on Twitch at all. So I'm sorry, my brain is going to be jumping around because there's so much I wanted to say. Again, next question, I'm taking notes because King Panda brings up a lot of good points and then I forget them as I'm listening to him majestically talk. So, yeah, majestically. That was unintentional. So yeah, basically, it was different that I had to get used to not having viewers and being okay with that. And really, like King said, for me, it was about sharing games I like, and I still play a lot of games I like. When I first streamed Alone in the Dark in 2020, this is our 5th anniversary of streaming Alone in the Dark. When I first streamed it in 2020, everyone was like, what the hell is this crap? Like, what in the world is this? And now there's still going to be many, many newer viewers who are like, what's this? But there's all those originals who now know the game so well from watching me play it 4 times, and everyone gets excited and they're super into it and they're hyped with me. And that's what I love, is like, that's always been my passion, is like, I'm a rare game collector. So like sharing obscure stuff with friends, like that is part of the reason why I like my collection, is because I can have a friend come over and I can pull them like watch, hold on, pause real quick. Like I can pull a game off the shelf, right? Like, here's a great example. King, have you ever played McDonald's Treasureland Adventure on the Sega Genesis? I bet you haven't. I chose an intentionally obscure game.
I can't say that I have.
You haven't, but it is such a good game, and this is a good example of a game where, like, if I had friends over, I'd be like, yo, like, let me put this game in, because it is such a good game. Most people haven't heard of it. I have so many games like that, and that's what I love about streaming, is being able to share stuff like that with, you know, again, it does kind of hit different when it's like a friend at your house and you're sharing something, but also streaming does scratch that itch as well. Like, let me show you something cool you've probably never seen. Maybe you've never seen, or maybe you have seen. That's also awesome. Like King mentioned earlier, it's super cool when you play something obscure or, you know, not as well known and people also like it. That's awesome too. But it's also, for me, very rewarding to be like, check out this thing I like. Like, it is really cool. Like, I think you'll like it too. And I do that to you. I think I do that to you a lot, King. I'm like, oh, like this thing that I like I think you would like it as well. Like, it is something I'm really passionate about, is like, and I think that, you know, we're getting off track. I talk too much, but we're getting off track. But like, it's the same thing with like how I like, you know, like, hey friend, meet this other really cool friend like that you don't like. I'm all about showing off like things I like and things I care about. Like, I'm all about like, hey, other person that I like, let me show you this. So like, I'm super passionate about that. And that's definitely, that's a piece of advice I still give to streamers, is play what you like. I remember, and I was playing an old DOS game called Commander Keen, which you may or may not have heard of before. It's kind of classic, but most people haven't played it because it's very old. And I remember there was a day in April of 2021. My audience had started to grow. I was at the point where I was consistently getting double-digit viewers, and it felt great. And I streamed Commander Keen, the entire series, which is 6 games that I could stream because one of the games isn't available digitally, blah blah blah. But I was streaming this series, and it is an old, ancient DOS game. It doesn't have good sound. It's an old game. I mean, it's like most people in this day and age that are playing Call of Duty and stuff would not like that game, right? But like, I just remember I was like thinking to myself, I'm just like, wow, like I can stream Commander Keen. And people were joking about it in chat too. Like my viewers at the time were joking like, yeah, you can stream Commander Keen and we're here because we like you and you're seeing like what you like to play. Like, you can stream Commander Keen and have like 20, 30 viewers, like a game that really no one is ever going to go and like hunt down to watch. But because I'm doing it, they enjoy it like with me. So incredibly cool. It's such a great feeling. That's like the first really amazing feeling I had streaming when I realized like I can play Commander Keen. Like because like you said, there is that nerves when you're just starting, you have 2 viewers, like I better play something good that people are going to want to watch. And so when I had that freeing feeling of like, I can stream freaking Commander Keen and 30 people will watch me, it was an amazing freeing feeling. I can play whatever I want. I can do what I want. And I've never stopped doing what I want. And, sometimes I go outside my comfort zone. Even Kingdom Hearts is outside my comfort zone. It's just something I wanted to do. I do go outside my comfort zone of like games I stream sometimes, but I know like I can stream what I want to stream, and that's super important. What was the actual question? How are you? Okay. So I would say, Anthan, to answer your question, because I talked about everything but your actual question, I would say just being confident in, I've always been confident in my personality, but I'm confident in what I can play as well, because there was always that there was that fear before of when I started on Twitch of what can I really play. Although I don't know, like I feel like I got over it pretty quickly. One of the first games I played was a game called Biomenace, which is another old DOS game from like 30 years ago now, and people liked that too. So I don't know, maybe I don't know. How did I change? I mean, I guess just more confidence and more just building the community. I just feel more confident that we have people that will be there through thick and thin. I mean, I have so many viewers that have been here for 4+ years watching me every day, that hang out, that we are like friends. We have events in Discord where it's more than a parasocial relationship. We're friends. And I look forward to, there's too many people. Life is busy, and you can't hang out with everyone all the time, but on those streams I can hang out with so many people that I like and just hang out, and it's awesome. Another good point that just triggered in my head was you talking about, oh, hold on, I just lost it again. Hanging out with, games in general. Like, again, life is busy. Being able to play games on stream is like, I don't play a lot of games off stream. I play games on my own free time with friends and stuff, blah, blah, blah. But like, I don't play a ton of games off stream. So like having that outlet where I can express myself creatively and play a game, like it's a great feeling. And, just going back to what you said, like, I'm really glad that you were able to kind of find that love again, because like, for me anyway, how I think about you is like, you are just such an incredible knowledge base of like these games. And like, I think losing that would have sucked. So I think it's really awesome that you're around and you can share that with people, besides just sharing yourself with people. But also that knowledge is super, super cool. Something I definitely aspire to. Hi, Jax. How you doing? He hears me talking. Please don't chew any controllers, Jax. Please. We're live, Jax.
I heard that you got some new index controllers. You gonna drop
no, they're up here. I've learned. I have them very far away from anywhere that he can go. But no, I think it's a hard question for me, Anthem, because I've been streaming for so long. I would say just getting more confidence about doing whatever I want. I always had some level of confidence, but just getting more confidence in that regard. And also going outside my comfort zone, trying to do things like trying to add, I remember when I added transitions and when I added all these different little things. And again, I know I'm not comparing myself to these people who have like crazy technical, like masterpiece feats of streams. That's not me. So that's not what I'm going for. But I do appreciate the fact that I can try sometimes to add things, little things that maybe they don't add a ton to the stream, but just little things, like play into your forte. For me, I don't know if you're familiar with, you've probably seen them in Chat King, but like I try to think of things that I'm good at. So years ago, I thought of a thing called community facts, which you might see them pop up in my chat sometimes. And basically what that is people can submit their facts about themselves. And then every 5 minutes, a fact pops up in chat so that people can learn more about each other in our community and just get to know each other. So that's an area where I thought of that idea and I was like, holy crap, like that's a great idea. Like that is an area where I am passionate about, like our community. Like I can't add a crazy technical like feats to my stream, but I can add something cool and unique that other people don't have that helps us build our community. And that really has, like, people learn so many things about each other. Like we have hundreds of facts on there at any given time that might pop up. And it's fun for people to see, oh, like, look at like, I'll just use an example. Pixel, if you know Pixel from our community, he is a quadruplet. And I would have never known that he has 3 identical twins. Like that's just a random, and it doesn't add anything to my stream in the sense of like, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't add anything like, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but like it's not something, an improvement to my stream, so to speak, but it is something super cool that people can learn about each other and just like know these facts about each other. For me, it's great. I've learned a lot about the people in my community through that. And, there's dozens of people that have submitted hundreds of facts. So it's not like, it's not all, just like, like people that are my close friends that are in the community. I might know stuff about them, but like people that I probably wouldn't have learned stuff about, I'm able to learn stuff about, and the other community members are. And like, we had the whole talk about Jax. Get off that. We had the whole talk about like people reaching out to each other and like getting to know each other. That was during like the just chatting streams. And like, yeah, it's kind of like a icebreaker, I guess you could say. Like you already know things about these people from these facts. So that's a good example of a thing that I was able to to implement, like, again, playing to your strengths. That's something I guess I've learned is like, again, you can't, I see these other streams that do these crazy special effects and stuff. I can't do that. I can do what I'm good at. And so I play to my strengths. And I do go outside my comfort zone to try to add stuff like that sometimes, but I don't overextend myself into an area where I'm not, where I don't think my forte is. You talked about it earlier. Play into your strengths. And I think you do an amazing job of playing into your strengths. And I think I do a pretty okay job of it myself as well. So
you do amazing.
thank you.
Also,
I appreciate it. All right. I think we're pretty good on that question. I talked a lot. You talked a lot as well. So I think we did pretty good on that one. Are you satisfied? Anything else you'd like to add based on what I said? Anything come to mind?
No, I think we provided a lot on that question.
Yeah,
that's a really good question.
That was a great question. Thank you, Anthony. I really enjoyed that too. So I will give us a quick break since that was almost an hour. I'm sure you need some water, and I'm gonna go and make. All right, we are back, guys. And King, we've got a nice, a lighter-hearted question after some serious discussions. We've got something a little more, I would say, is a fun question. This is by Anonymous. There is no, they didn't want to leave their name. So this one, I mean, it's not really a question. It's technically 2 words. The words are horror tropes.
Horror tropes.
So what horror tropes do you like, if any, that you can think of?
Oh man, I think we need to start this one off with you, the master
right.
fan of horror.
I'll kick us off. Yeah. So I like, my favorite probable horror trope, I guess, is the it stems from my favorite movie, which is The Ring, which is the trope of like X will kill you in X amount of time if you don't solve the mystery, basically. It's kind of similar to like how Smile came out a couple years ago. It's similar to that. Like, you're going to die in X amount of time if you don't do Y. So I love that trope. I kind of love how those kinds of movies flow. There's an old movie called Fear.com, which is like basically similar to The Ring. It's like you go on this website and then you die after X days. So that's a really bad movie, but I really like it just because I love that whole trope of like, don't do this thing. Oh, I did the thing. Oh, now I'm going to die in X amount of time. Oh no. Like I that kind of thing is super fun for me. I like the journey, you're on a journey like that's something that always, I don't know, I guess for me, like I can relate to it in the sense that like you are literally up against the clock for your life. Like you have X amount of days before you're going to die. So like those kind of movies, for me, they get my heart rate up a little bit. Like, you're on the clock at all times. Like every second matters. And there's a definitive amount of time versus like, in like a slasher movie or something like, oh yeah, the Michael Myers might get me, but like when, I don't know. But like this, like you have this amount of time. It's kind of I guess plays off the whole fear of like knowing when you're going to die. Like if like my doctor told me tomorrow, like you're going to die in 6 months, like that's freaking horrifying, So like, I don't know. I guess that kind of trope is intriguing to me.
It sounds like you're a fan of the film It Follows.
Yeah.
How did you feel about that?
Oh, I love that movie. I watched it in theaters on my birthday, the year it came out. I remember it very well. I didn't know anything about the movie. I just wasn't. I had my birthday was whatever day it was. I think a random day, but I had taken it off, and I said, "Oh, what do I want to do today? I'll go to the movies, watch a horror movie." And I didn't know anything about the movie, and I watched it, and yeah, that's one that stuck with me. Big fan. I made Chili Mex watch it, and then he didn't really like it too much. So unfortunate.
Oh, no.
But yeah, no, that's one I show into a lot of people. And here's a fun. You've seen the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. So fun fact: one time I was watching it with a friend, and this was 5 years ago now, probably. We're all cuddled up on the couch watching this scary movie, and I know what happens. He didn't know what would happen, so we're all like cuddled up watching it and stuff. And like I hadn't seen it in a bit, so there was like that movie is very atmospheric. Like there's moments where like where it's like yeah, I mean it's tense throughout really, but we're just like chilling there, and like I basically we were waiting for like the moment to happen. Like, okay, what's gonna happen? So it was like after I don't want to spoil the movie, so I won't say where it is, but like they're in a doctor's office at a certain point, or the hospital or whatever, and like the movie was like it stopped, and so we were like waiting, and we were just like waiting. We knew there was going to be like a jump scare, and I was like, huh, like I don't remember it doing this, but like And then basically the TLDR is we found out for some reason the movie had paused itself, so it was paused. So we waited like 5 minutes sitting there in anticipation, like, oh shit, something's gonna happen, like. And then like my friend's looking at me like, and I'm like, I don't remember this happening. And then I like checked it, and oh, okay, the movie had paused itself for some reason, and then restarted. Yeah, so it was the most stressful 5 minutes there. It was like sitting there, and I'm just like, holy crap, I don't even remember this jump scare. Like this is about to be.
That's a good movie.
Yeah, like,
that's a good movie. If the movie, if that movie is paused and you're still finding yourself being like a little scared about it,
I
like,
was
that's
stressed.
a good movie.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. No, I love the movie, and you know the sequel's coming out. I don't know if it's coming out next year, but it's soon. I'm very excited. Yeah, very excited.
Absolutely.
So I am a big fan of that. All those kind of mystery, even stuff like The Grudge in the early 2000s. Like I love a lot of those 2000s horror movies for sure.
Yeah, they definitely brought forth something that I don't think it can really be replicated nowadays.
Yeah.
But yeah, those early 2000s films were very gnarly.
Yeah. Oh, I'll have some good ones to show you. I'll pull out my DVD collection. We'll watch some.
Oh boy. Oh dear. I'm trying to think. What would be what's something that I enjoy a lot with horror movies? I haven't watched too many horror movies recently, but I do like the whole kind of like the monster is present. They're like hiding in plain sight kind of ordeal, or like like a whole body snatcher situation. I love that.
Yeah, like It Follows.
Yeah, like It Follows.
I do too. That is a movie that really effed with me. Like I'm pretty desensitized to horror movies, but like that is one that definitely screwed with me for a while. So definitely feel that.
The Thing was a turning point movie for me, because I felt like I needed to watch that over and over and over again to try to see if I can like see personality differences between the people who were the person who they said they were, and then the ones who weren't the people that they said they were. And I liked that. I think
it's great.
I like movies that don't require me to watch it twice, but if I want to, I can, you can see specific
exactly
things, catch glimpses of stuff. You find that even with more like in detail suspense horror, mystery things like what's it called? Hereditary. With Hereditary, you were able to see like on initial view, you don't really notice too much, but
right.
Through additional glances, you can be like, oh, this thing is happening in the background, or there's something right there that's occurring that does lead up to being present here.
I missed so much the first time I watched the movie. Yeah.
Yeah. And like as when you find these things, or if you're like me and you look at a lot of YouTube retrospective videos for people who do the searching for you.
Yeah.
And then I'm sitting there, I'm like, how the hell did I miss any of this stuff? This doesn't make sense.
I know.
I love the kinds of movies where you are putting together the puzzle.
Yeah.
But the characters in the movie don't realize what's happening whatsoever. But you're the one that's piecing it together. And the only reason why they find out is at the end, when either they somehow survive or they realize that they messed it all up and they wasted their only chance.
Yeah.
But you realize that there was a lot of exits beforehand and they just did not see it. I like those kinds of movies.
Yeah, I definitely feel that. Yeah, just like you are like the greater knowledge in that sense, and it's like, yeah, it does feel it's an interesting, like, kind of like you want to help them, like, I want to help you, like, do this, please, like, yeah. I definitely get that feeling. By the way, have you ever played the Thing game on PS2? It's a good game.
No, but it's funny that you say that, because I was watching a retrospective video on it.
It's a good game. You can play it someday. I'll let you play mine.
Good game. It looks difficult in some sections, but does look like a really good game.
Yeah, a lot of like as far as like horror what's the word? Adaptations, I guess is the word. Like when, from a movie to a video game adaptation, it was, they did a really good job. I mean, and realistically, when you think about it, right? Like how many horror movies got turned into games? You know, like sometimes it went the other way, like Silent Hill,
Good
Resident
ones.
Evil movies. Those got movies after they were already games. You know what I mean? But like,
Yeah.
when you think about it, really, like I can't think of that many. Like back in the NES days, there was a lot. Like they got the Friday the 13th video games and like Nightmare on Elm Street and
Oof.
stuff. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
big oof. But like actual, like in the newer, like Saw got a video game. It wasn't good.
Did you ever play the Jaws video game?
Yeah, on the NES, I have played that. Yep, I have that game. It's not as bad as some of the aforementioned, but it's not good. It's not good. But a lot of, back in those days, we eat good these days. Like a new amazing game comes out every week on Steam or something, and you're like, wow, I've never heard of this dev. They just made a masterpiece. Back in the day, we weren't eating that good. It was, I'm sure, going on another tangent, I'm sure there's many times when you rented a game as a young lad and were very disappointed that the game was not good like you were hoping it would be.
Oh yeah. Because as a kid, we only went to the video store.
Yeah.
I used to say video store.
I've heard that story too.
if I did well on my assignments for that week in school. So if I rented something for the weekend and it was bad, it was like
it's a punch in the
I
face.
did all this work. And what is this for? I didn't. But it's okay because my brother got to rent something too. So if my game sucked,
you
had good chances his game didn't suck.
Yeah, you had a second option. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, but if both of ours sucked,
then you're out of luck.
We're kind of screwed.
Yeah, that's tough. Yeah, my brother is 8 years younger than me, so we didn't have that. By the time I well, I don't know. It's kind of weird, right? Because he's never been into like retro like stuff from before his time. So I can remember like I'm just gonna choose like a random age. Like he's like 12 and I'm 20, and like I was playing like old games, and he would be playing like the newest Grand Theft Auto or whatever, like and stuff like that. Like he was always into like the modern stuff, and like you'd think it was the other way around. Like I'm a teen and you're a little kid, so you're gonna be the one playing the little kid games like the Super Nintendo games. But it was the other way around. I was the one like I want to play Super Nintendo, and he's like I want to play God of War or whatever, just like AAA, and not literally, but I just chose a random thing. Really, he was into like a lot of the like Need for Speed, like those racing games and stuff. I don't even know all the ones. I was never really into racing games too much, but he liked a lot of those type of games. And
because my brother, we're 8 years apart.
Oh, okay.
Also, so I'm the baby.
Whoa, that's crazy.
So when I was playing my games, he was the one who was like. He was
playing the big kid games.
M-rated, the M-rated titles that I shouldn't be playing, but I was like, let me play it anyway because let's check it out. That's when I got introduced to Resident Evil 2, and it's a very minimal scene now, but when I was a kid, I remember hiding underneath my bunk bed because I was so scared, and it was it's a scene where you're in the gun shop.
Yeah.
And the gun owner's like pointed at you, and the character's like, "Don't shoot!" It's, he's like, "Oh, let me lock the door. Something's weird's going on here," and the zombies break in through the window.
I remember it.
And I thought that you were safe because you're inside, and I'm like, "There's no way they're gonna get in." And they break in, and I remember, I didn't know how to pause the game or anything like that, and I just heard the glass shatter. It's like 2 a.m. That's the only thing that's illuminating the room. And I crawl underneath my bunk bed as I'm hearing like the zombies. And I'm like, this is off. I had never revisited the game until within like the last maybe 6-7 years.
Yeah.
As an adult getting into the game. And then even then I had like the slightest minimal like PTSD of it when I got to that scene. When I played the original PS1 version, and I was like, oh my god, this is no wonder why I was terrified as a kid. And then around that same time we were getting we had gotten the remake of the game, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is no way. This is like the remake is kind of like what I envisioned back then as a child of what terrified me. But yeah. It's they were my in for a lot of M-rated titles that
Yeah.
probably got me into liking the things that I did enjoy
Yeah.
with those kinds of games.
That's really cool.
Whether it be from Resident Evil to the Metal Gear games, or I think they actually they probably got me into like Soul Reaver when I was first
Oh, I love
watching
Soul
it.
Reaver. Yeah.
There was another game. I can't remember the name of it, but you're like you're like the samurai who has like this like demon gauntlet, and you're like
On what system?
fighting. I think it was like PS2.
Hmm.
I think it was either PS2 or Xbox. You're fighting demons, and you can use this like gauntlet to like absorb their like energy or whatever, and you're going through this like Japanese like temple or whatever. I'll have to look it up.
Someone might, maybe someone will comment on it, but I
maybe
shoot.
so, because there's recently a Netflix show that's like, it has the same name of the game.
Oh.
But I can't. Oh my god, I can't remember the name of it. But yeah, if anyone knows in what I'm talking about, go ahead and leave a message in the comments, because it's literally on the tip of my tongue and I cannot remember it for the life of me.
Yeah, I just looked up Netflix original series to see if anything jumped out at me as a PS2 game, because I don't know. Interesting though. Yeah, I would be curious to know too. I may own it. Whatever it is, I may own it. I have 360 PS2 games, so or 365, I think. I don't know. A lot.
I just remember him. I remember him playing the game, and I remember him, fighting demon. It had like this Resident Evil-esque like camera angle to it, but I just remember him playing the game while listening to Linkin Park, and it looked so gnarly.
That's so
to
early
me,
2000s.
and I was like, dude, I want to play it, but I don't know. I just Onimusha.
Oh, Onimusha
is what it was.
Yeah, I've got a lot of those Onimusha games.
That's it. That's what he was playing while he was listening to Linkin Park.
That's
and I was
funny.
like, this game looks sick. And I couldn't find it for years. Until like one day I think I was looking at YouTube videos, and it was someone who was talking about like games throughout the years, what inspired Resident Evil like titles, and I saw clips of it, and I was like, it was like that video of Leonardo DiCaprio from what was it, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
The meme.
Like, that's it. That's the thing. That's it.
That's a great feeling too, when you see a game that you as a kid you didn't really remember it too much. That is an amazing feeling. I can relate to that feeling. But that's Absolutely. A fun fact. I see. We always talk about how alike we are. Now we know that we're both 8-year apart siblings in the opposite direction. But that's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. So I was gonna make a comment. What was I gonna comment about a game? Oh no, I lost it. What was I gonna say? Something about a game. I lost it. Raichuuu, take notes. Yeah, I don't remember what I was gonna say. Maybe I'll circle back. But we were talking about. Let me think. Video game adaptations. No. PS2 games. Sorry guys, I was enjoying King's story too much. It escaped my brain, but I was enjoying the story. No, because I relate to that that kind of thing a lot. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll circle back. We'll see. King, are you good? Are you ready? You want to move on to the next one? I know we got on a little tangent there from horror tropes, but thank you for the horror tropes question. I enjoyed that question. Yeah. That was a great question. We just we had more to talk about. So very cool. All right. Question number 8. This is from a celebrity known as Game Orca.
Let's go Game Orca.
It says all-time least favorite video games with an S in parentheses.
You played it sounds like you played a lot more games than I have, so I'll let you kick that off.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna have to go over to my shelf and probably grab some. But I can think of a couple that are, I don't know. For me, let me preface that by saying, for me, I don't usually hate anything. Like, I'm very much not I've never really had anyone in my life that I say, oh, I hate them. And I've never really had, I don't hate movies. Like, people say, oh, this movie was terrible. Like, I try to not hate things, but I understand what you're saying. Your least favorite video game. So I will grab a couple off my shelf while King thinks real quick. And yeah, let me grab something.
Yeah, I'm in a similar boat. I don't necessarily hate. I can't say games that I hate. More so, I'm just thinking. The question is just prompting me to think of games where I was playing it, and midway playing it, I'm like, okay, how much longer do I have left? Because I don't want to do this anymore. I'll finish the game. There hasn't been. I don't think there's been a game that I've gone through and I've been like, you know what? I'm just not going to continue, or not not out of hatred. There's just a lot of games that I've played that I was like bored out of, or I was like, man, this didn't really turn out to be the thing that I thought it was going to be, and it caused me to stop it.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel like as a kid, it happened a lot more, for sure. Like this is kind of a famous example that people, people talk about is the little game called Mario is Missing. I don't know if you're familiar with this game at all, King, but
I didn't even know that even existed.
yeah. So you see, so you picture this, right? And I don't know if you're much of a. It seems like you're more of a Sony guy growing up and stuff, but like, also I remembered what I was going to talk about before, so I'm going to circle back to it, but not yet. So I mean, you know what Mario games are like, right? I assume maybe at some point in your life you've played Mario 1, 2, 3, Super Mario World, like those really super popular games. So you play those, right? And you know what you're expecting. So Mario is Missing is a game about learning. And that is not a joke. This is a game where you learn. You go around the world and you learn about things such as the pyramids in Egypt and different countries and their landmarks and stuff like that. This is literally 100% a learning game. There is no platforming or anything you would expect in a normal Mario game. So you can imagine kid me, my parents were innocent enough. It's called Mario is Missing. And if you look at the cover art, I mean, it just looks like a cool, fun adventure Mario game. And I like that they have a little thing that says non-violent on it. But yeah, so that's
Isn't that as Mario's getting grabbed by Bowser?
Literally. Yeah, he's getting this.
It's not violent.
Yeah, I mean, literally, poor Mario. But no, so that's a great example of an extremely disappointing experience as a kid, because you're like, yo, like Mario, like this is gonna be great, and then it's not, and then you're very heartbroken. So that's a game that I can safely put on my for lack of a better word, shit list, because it hurt young me. Young me was rather upset, very much. Did you have any experiences like that where a game just was not, maybe you rented it even?
See, that's the thing, is like, if I had rented a game, there are two games that come to mind, and I probably won't get their name right, but one of them was a game called, I think it was a PS2 game, and I think it was called like Ghost Hunter or something like that. You played as this like, I don't know, this like cocky white guy, very ladies man-esque. He always had some shit to say, and he did something where he released like a curse or whatever, and the people who trapped the curse were like, oh, this is your problem now, you need to fix it. So they outfitted him with like a ghost gun or whatever, and he's like, why do I gotta do this? I'm handsome. I didn't like it. I didn't like the game. I can't remember the name.
There's a game called Ghost Hunter. I've never heard of this game. I just Googled it. I have a lot of PS2 games.
I would need to see it to see if it's like the same.
I mean,
I can't remember. It had like.
How does this exist? I am pretty knowledgeable about this. Sounds like what you're talking about, but this is a game called.
What's the color of the title? Is it like a green? Is it like a green outline with like a black text, or is it? Like,
hold on.
There's like a ghostly figure in the bottom.
Yep. This has got to be it. Watch this. Hold on. I'm going to pull it up on my phone so you can see it easily. Watch this. Watch this. We're going to. So this is there's a different box art for the Europe version, but this is ours. Oh, you might not be able to see it that well, but the ghost.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. That's the one.
I've never heard of this game.
Right?
Yeah, you just taught me. I was like, what the hell is this guy talking about? This doesn't exist.
The cover looks sick.
It does.
The cover looks sick.
Yeah.
So I saw that at Hollywood Video, and I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be cool." And I played it,
I
and I
agree.
was like, "I don't like it."
Shit, I want to
But
get this game right now as an adult. It does look cool.
who knows? Maybe it is a good game, or maybe I was just like, as a kid, maybe I don't know. I I don't know what I was looking for back then. Um, but that was a game I remember just not continuing. I don't know why, if it was difficult or whatever, but I just didn't like it.
Yeah.
So I would love to revisit it if now that I know that I was
Yeah.
right on the name.
That would be cool.
Another
I've never heard
one
of that. That's crazy.
that
It's
I
so
wasn't a
fun
fan
for
of.
me to, by the way, just to cut you off, like it's fun for me. Like I am very, very knowledgeable. Like I own a lot of games, but I also am aware of what exists. I had no idea this game exists, and that's rare for me, especially it's a pretty expensive title. It looks like a relatively expensive title on the PS2, and I'm shocked. I've never heard of this. So
It's
thanks
probably a
for.
good game, or it's so bad that it's like
I
it's
mean,
rare.
yeah, one or the other. Yeah, I don't know. Well, if you want to think more, I can show some of mine. Unless you had another on your mind right now.
Oh, you wanted to circle back to
Oh, yeah, we can do that too. I have some more games I'll show, but yeah. So the other thing, you made me think about it because of what you said got you scared. Have you ever played Majora's Mask?
I have.
Okay.
Recently, not as a kid. But
okay, but then you'll know. So when you're on the farm and you have to stop the ghosts or whatever, like or the aliens, I guess they are. That was my childhood. Like, holy crap, this is the most horrifying thing I have ever seen in my life. And as an adult, I mean, you just did it, so you can say like it's not scary. They look ridiculous. But as a kid, and the music, it's like wina 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 wina. I don't know if I'm singing it correctly, but like the music was like traumatizing. Like that was super traumatizing. So yeah, that's mine. You made me think of it.
As a kid, our minds just like kind of fill in the blanks in the worst possible ways, and it just terrifies us. And then when we revisit as a kid or as an adult, we're like,
oh, we laugh. Yeah, we're like, what in the world? Like, really? I mean, I was, and it's funny for me again, being a desensitized horror fan. Like, a lot of games as a kid that were scary games, I was really scared of. Like, you were talking about like feeling like you were safe in Resident Evil 2. Alone in the Dark also does something like that, where without spoiling, because maybe you'll see the stream, without spoiling it, basically like right from the get-go, like the second you start the game, you're not safe. Whereas, a lot of games, you kind of have like an introductory time when you're kind of safe and not much is happening. You start the game and you're in danger. So I think that's kind of a cool thing. As a kid, it was horrifying, but as an adult, I definitely appreciate like that's a pretty cool thing a lot of games didn't do.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. It's when games find that if they can do that and have like a decent balance while doing that, because there are some games that you start them up and you're immediately in a
yeah, I know what you're talking
situation,
about.
and it can be games where it's like, okay, that's not fair.
Yep.
Because how would I know?
Yep.
I don't know what to do. But if you can execute that,
if you can execute it well, chef's kiss.
Yeah, then it's memorable.
It is
in the good way, not oh no, you don't want to play this because you start this and then you're like you're done.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And another game that I thought about. Okay, so there are three that come up to my mind.
All right.
That I remember not being a fan of.
All right.
One was an Xbox title, also was a rent game.
Yep.
I've seen speedruns of it, and it, I don't know, it's whatever. Xbox title game called Grabbed by the Ghoulies.
Yep, I own that game. Great game.
Very difficult for me to understand.
Yeah, as a young lad,
how to do anything in that game. I remember I got it, and I was like, oh man, it's gonna have like, I can't wait to get like voice acting, like hearing the voice acting in the game or whatever. Because I was like, it's the Xbox. Why wouldn't there be voice acting? And then I started the game, and they're all like, and I was like, is this game broken? This is not. This isn't it.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe they'll voice act like later, and they're like, I'm like, this is dumb. I can't do that.
You had expectations, and they were thrown to the side. So
yeah, and they were not. I mean,
as
a kid, I mean, I was playing Halo, like just like a little bit before then, so I was like,
yeah,
this isn't it.
Yeah. And that's the thing we do as kids, you know, we have expectations. We see a game and all you're going by is the cover art and you expect, your brain tells you this is what it's going to be like. So if it's not like that, then you're kind of heartbroken, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't know how to like look into games, what it is that I'm getting, until like after it's already too late.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it would be games like Grab by the Ghoulies. There was a Xbox 360 game. I'm sure it was also a PS3 game. It was called Bulletstorm.
I'm familiar with the game. I think I own it. Yeah, I don't think that was a very good game. I think that one got panned pretty hard by people.
That one, it looked gnarly. I liked like the combat idea, but it just wasn't executed well. And that was a game that I ended up having to go online and looking. It's bad when I have to look online to see like, okay, how much longer do I have on this game?
Yeah.
To finish it, because I'm kind of done.
Yeah.
And what was the other game that I didn't? Days. Is it Days Gone?
Oh, yeah. I think that is
the zombie apocalypse one with like the motorcycle guy. Its biggest
Days Gone. That's it. Yeah.
Thing was like a technical demo that happened like years ago of like this large like World War Z like zombie horde chasing you through this like lumber farm.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, this is gonna be so sick. And then I played it, and it just didn't do it for me. I didn't like the voice acting for the guy a lot. I didn't like the voice acting for the guy. The hub worlds just felt, they were populated, but they were like populated with like a lot of nothing.
Yeah.
They were just kind of there just to be there.
Yeah.
And that was it. I just didn't have a good time with it. And that was really unfortunate because I really wanted to like the game. And then there were times where I saw like people were saying, oh, you know, the game got updated. So I would go back to it thinking like, oh, maybe it'll be different. I mean, no, it's not.
Yeah.
And I think I even recall the creator of that game being like attacking the player base, saying that it's their fault that the game's not going to get a sequel because they didn't buy it. And I was like, well, then make a good game. Make a good game.
Yeah.
And at that point, if you're having that much of a problem about it, but that was I think my most recent game that I was playing it for a bit. I really tried to push through it, but I was like, no, I can't.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do this. I'm okay.
It's tough, especially in this day and age. Like, you don't have, your free time is valuable. Like, wasting it on something that's not fun is like
games are expensive. Games are very expensive nowadays.
Yeah, they are. They're expensive, and our time is more valuable than ever. When you're a kid, I mean, yeah, it sucked to play not the greatest games, but like, you know, what were you losing? Like, okay, you lost your weekend, but you still played games, like, you're okay. But now it's like, bro, we work a lot. Like, having a little bit of free time and you waste it, it hurts. Like, I have lived that, and I know there's been times where I'm just like, fuck, dude, like, life is stressful, and I just wasted my whole weekend playing something I didn't really enjoy all that much. Like, that sucks.
It's tough.
It is.
It's really tough because then it doesn't place me in a good position to like get into game series or franchises that I'm not familiar with.
It's scary.
Leaving my comfort zone, because I don't know if I'm gonna like Chrono Trigger. I don't know if I'm gonna like Clock Tower. I don't know if I'm gonna like what is Dino Crisis.
Yep.
But you know what for a fact I will like?
Kingdom Hearts.
I'll like Kingdom Hearts and I'll like Final Fantasy without a problem.
Exactly.
That's because I know those are comfort games for me.
Exactly.
But I need to know that like what I'm getting into is going to be something that I like, and what happens is that I'll review the game, I'll research it extensively. But it's a problem because then when you research a game series, you can accidentally spoil yourself.
You can.
Stuff. And I don't. It's tough.
It is. You know, for me, I will say that really hits home because it's the same thing with me. Sometimes a lot with movies or shows. It's like I am scared to watch watch something that is outside of my comfort zone because like, oh, it's like life is stressful. Like, I want to watch this thing that brings me comfort, you know, like I don't want to watch something and like people are like, oh, start this series, and I'm like, but what if I don't like it? Like I could watch a series that I know I love, that it's comforting to me, like, and it's definitely.
I just did that recently too. I watched WandaVision for the very first time while I was on my trip, and my friend Wolf, he was like, "Oh man, have you seen this before?" And I was like, "No, I mean I've seen some of like I've seen most of the Marvel films up until like Endgame Part 2 or whatever, and I haven't seen anything beyond that. But I don't really know about the TV shows. I've heard about them, but I not too sure. Watched it. I loved it.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, I don't really know if I can dedicate my time to this. He was like, just give it a chance. It's not even that many episodes. You know, it's whatever. A few episodes in, I was like, no way. This is wild.
Yeah.
What's going on? This is insane.
Yeah. And it's a good feeling when you do have that, because, you know, there are obviously the times where you watch a show and you don't get into it. So it is a nice feeling when you're like, oh, that did like bring me the level of like comfort that like something else I liked. Like I watched the Fallout series last time my parents visited. My dad is super into Fallout. So he was like, he'd already seen it, but he's like, hey, let's watch Fallout. So I was like, I mean, I know some things about Fallout, but I'm not like a super fan to the point where like a lot of people were like really hyped when the show came out. They're like, yeah, let's watch it. Like for me, it was like, whatever. But then I watched it and I don't know that much about Fallout, but I was like, yeah, this is a good show. This is actually genuinely a really well put together show. So, you know, it's like,
check it out.
It's like stepping outside of your comfort zone. Like I could have watched the same thing I've watched 100 times, but like, yeah, stepping out of your comfort zone and you find something new that you like. Like it was a good show. Like if a new season comes out, like I'll probably watch it. And that was a great point you brought up about the time investment. Like Fallout's like 6 episodes or something. Like it's not that hard to commit to, you know, like versus if you're going to start watching a show like The Walking Dead, for example, one of my favorite shows. But like if you start watching that now, there's 15 seasons. I don't know. There's a lot of seasons. So that's a little more of a struggle.
I need to continue that. I stopped early. But they were also just filming. They were only just filming like certain at the very beginning, very very few seasons at that point. I think where I'm at when I stopped was where was I at? I think they just left the prison. I think that was when,
wow, you are way early. Oh man.
Yeah. That's when I was watching it as like they were releasing those episodes.
Yeah.
And then when that finished, I was like, okay, I'll watch the next seasons when it comes about. Never happened.
Isn't it interesting how that works? I'm trying to think because I feel like there's shows like that with me too, where I just like liked it and then it just fell off. But yeah, no, Walking Dead does have some good stuff. I'll watch it with you someday. That'd be cool. It is a good comfort show for me anyway. I enjoy it, and it's funny that you can have a comfort show that's like a violent zombie killing show, but like it is a good show. But yeah, no, definitely good to reach out of your comfort zone. But that really resonated with me because for me, yeah, comfort games are like everything. Like if I'm feeling like I am stressed or like I just want to like relax, like 100% a comfort game or show is going on. I am not going outside my comfort zone. Like if I'm really stressed and I want to like enjoy something, like yeah, it's gonna be something in my comfort hut, so to speak. What was I gonna say? There was something else I was gonna say. Oh man. Oh, yeah, but you'll definitely like Chrono Trigger, don't you worry. You like Final Fantasy, you'll like Chrono Trigger, don't you worry. We'll get you there. But you're in luck, because guess what? I own Chrono Trigger, I own the Clock Towers, I own all the Dino Crises. You can try them all without any risk of having to purchase them for a lot of money. So there you go. See?
Sound like gameplay right
there. My new side hustle.
Oh
I'll bring up a couple quick other honorable mentions. So I realized also like this dude is really showing off his feet. But this is a game called Chuck Rock on the Super Nintendo, and it's a game I never beat it as a kid, and it's a game where I came back and because it's really hard and it's not in a good way. And I tried playing it as an adult, like I'm great at platformers, I'll crush it, and it still just is like rough. It's just not very good. And here's another interesting game. I rented this. I don't know if you've ever seen this movie. Probably a little bit before you. Maybe you could have
I
watched it.
didn't even know it had a game.
Yeah, so it has a
When
game.
did they even have a game?
1993. So I rented this as a kid. Yeah, I rented this as a kid, and I remember like it was really brutal. Like I thought the game was. I think I remembered the game being pretty good, but hard. And so then I bought this like a few months ago. Finally, I was like, it was a memorable game that I rented as a kid, and I was like, I'm gonna play it as an adult. I'm gonna beat it. It's gonna be so cool and awesome. And then I played it, and it just is not very good, and I still can't beat it. And I was rather disappointed. But I'm glad it is a piece of me that I'm happy that I finally bit the bullet and purchased it. But it's not very good. It's not great. But I gave it a shot. You know, that's all you can do sometimes is give it a shot. Like, not everything's going to be great. You're not going to like everything, even if other people like it. You know, these are kind of like universally not great games, but you know, there's no guarantee. You know, Dino Crisis is a great game. You might not like it. Clock Tower is a great game. You might not like it. Chrono Trigger you will love, but you know, that's my bias.
You're like, that one's you're just going to like it.
I mean, honestly, for you, like I feel like I know you pretty well in the kind of games you like. And I am very confident in your level of enjoyment with Chrono Trigger, and I'm excited. That's going to be a great day. The joy you probably feel me watching me play, hanging out with me playing Kingdom Hearts. I'm excited for that whenever that day may come with Chrono Trigger. But yeah, I think we covered that pretty well. Did you have any other games you wanted to bring up? Good.
Not in my mind. No.
All right, cool. Thanks, Game Orca, for bringing out our hatred. Everyone else is like, "What's your favorite thing about you know?" And then Game Orca, "What do you hate?" Yeah, I hate those games I showed. All right, question number 9 from Like and Rock Me. It says, sorry, you can't answer. This one's for me, King. It says, "Why did you move to Las Vegas?" You know, I mean,
well, it all started.
Yeah. So why did I move to Las Vegas? That's a very valid question. The simple answer is California is very expensive. It's always been my dream to be a homeowner, to have a little yard. King's seen my little yard with all my stuff, and just have a nice chill place, have a place that I can be really, really comfortable in, and just kind of live. You know, it's kind of cliche and stupid to say, but like the American dream. Like, I remember last year on a weekend, I was sitting on my patio. Like, I own this house. I'm sitting on my patio with my hot tub, with my grill, with my fire pit. I had a beer. I was sitting outside. My dog was sitting outside with me, and I was like, holy shit, like, this is the dream. Like, this is my house. Like, I own this, and I have this space that's mine. I have my dog. Like, you know, like, this is what, for me, like, something I always wanted, and it was not attainable in California. For you people outside of the United States, you might not be aware, but California is extremely expensive, and I would never have been able to achieve that dream in California. And so I went somewhere where I could stay close to friends and family that are out there, while also achieving something that was very important to me, that dream. So that is the simple answer as to why I wanted the dream of that I'm living right now. This whole space is mine. No one's going to come and kick me out. And, you know, I've had experiences in my life, like being like, you know, kicked out of places like, oh, we're selling the property, so you got to move out now and stuff, from apartments and crap. And that's so annoying. No one's kicking me out of this house. This is my house. I'm here. This is my space. I customize it. If I want to bang on the wall and put up my freaking concert posters and stuff, like, I did it. That shelf behind me with all my cool stuff, I banged the freaking wall and put the nails in to build that shelf. Like the Valve Index tracker, I banged the, you know, it's my house. I can do what I want and make it mine. You know, you can see right there. They're not right. Hold on. Right there, my freaking video game shelves are sitting right there. Like, I was able to make this my place, and I have I have the comfort of knowing that no one's going to kick me out. It's my place. So, yeah, that's the reason why. Sorry, King. No one knew you were coming, so they asked me a question just about me. But I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed hearing. But you know, I'm sure you can relate to that as far as just having your own space and being able to customize it. I mean, look at your area. You've got it all customized to you know, for your own desires. Yeah. There's your keyblade too behind your head.
Yeah.
You get 2 keyblades, a light and a regular keyblade. But yeah, it's important to have your own space, and that was really important to me. So I wanted to have my own space, and now I have my own space. Got a dog and got living the dream, as they say. So yep. All right. Do you want to take a quick breather, King, or do you want to move on to the next one? We're on. Technically, that was 3 questions, so I'm giving you the option.
No, we can keep going.
Okay.
That's okay.
All right. Let's knock out question number 10. Whoa, this is an essay by an anonymous person. There's no. Okay, this is an interesting one. And I'll be very excited to hear your thoughts on this. So, the question says, how does one deal with loneliness, even within a community? For instance, not having their own group of friends within the community, or feeling alone because they had no one to talk to, or they're scared to initiate a conversation. And if that's a little deep and you don't want to start and you want to think about it while I talk, I don't mind. I realize this is kind of a deep question that you might not want to be put on the spot for, but you are always welcome to go first if you so desire.
Gosh, that is a very loaded question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna need some time to think about an answer on that.
Yeah, I'll chat a bit. Maybe I'll trigger some things in your brain that will because I've had the benefit. You've made me think of so many things while you were talking. So I'll talk on this one, no problem. So how does one deal with loneliness even within a community? Not having your own group of friends within the community, or feeling alone because they had no one to talk to, or they're scared to initiate a conversation. I think it's just something, first off, that you build up. Like, you're not gonna go, here's one thing. And people do this all the time. They compare themselves to me, like, oh, RaichuU's so popular, everyone loves him. Like, he's probably got so many friends and blah, blah, blah. Again, that's the first step. Don't compare yourself to others, because different people have different things, and having 50 friends versus having 2 friends doesn't mean the person with 50 friends is doing better or that they feel any less lonely. Sometimes the most popular people can also be the loneliest. So that's not, being popular or anything like that isn't, it's not an automatic, like, oh, I'm winning, like, I'm doing so good because I have that. So take that out of your head for a start is a good way to have it. I think not having your own group of friends within the community, or feeling alone because they had no one to talk to. So I think, again, it's just going to come, you need to practice reaching out to others. Like I used a good example. There's so many people that talk all the time in my streams, like all the time. For me especially, people have been talking in my stream chats together for 5 years and have, like, rarely, if ever, talked outside, like on DMs. Like, guys, I know it sounds scary, but, like, if you've been interacting with someone on my stream for literal years, there's a very good chance that they're okay with you reaching out. So you just kind of have to, and I know it, again, I'm not trying to make it sound like, oh, you just do this thing, it's so easy. It's not easy, but, like, take a step back and say, wow, for 3 years, me and this person go back and forth twice a week on the RaichuU stream chatting. Maybe they'd like to talk to me. Like, that's what I do. I read the situation, and I am no more special than anyone else. Like, as far as there's a lot of amazing people out there. Like, it's not like, oh, RaichuU's so cool, so it's easy for him. No, literally, I read the situation and I think, I take a step back and I go, well, have I interacted with this person, like, maybe on Twitter or in a stream or in a Discord, like a group chat? Yeah. And have they been pretty nice to me, or, like, seemingly interested in talking? Yeah. Let's take a shot. You have nothing to lose. And I know it is scary and you might feel like you have something to lose, but you don't have anything to lose. If you're not talking to that person anyway, even if you talk to them and then it doesn't spark, like, you're not losing anything. Like as an example, like, King Panda took a shot, like, messaging me out of the blue on Telegram, and it could have just fizzled. And, there was no guarantees that it was going to be, like, a great friendship and all this stuff was going to happen. There was never a guarantee. But he took the shot. We talked. Now we talk every day. He's on my freaking podcast. He's on my stream, like, all this stuff. And that was just from, like taking a shot. Like, and, I assume King read the situation. Like, yeah, this guy is, like, being nice to me and all this stuff. Like, he probably would be okay with me talking to him. And so that's what you have to do. You kind of have to take a step back and you have to think, you have to stop being hard on yourself for a moment, and you have to think, realistically, is this person acting like they might be interested in talking to me? If the answer is yes, take a shot. There's nothing to lose. The worst case, you don't hit it off. And best case, you hit it off amazingly. So I may have more to say, but King, did you have anything to add based on that initial stuff from me?
Not really there. You covered a lot in regards to, like, if there was anything I would have had to say, it would have been something very similar. It really does just boil down to, if you two have like, you know, some common ground that you feel
Yep.
like you can really connect to someone over, you know, there really isn't anything to lose.
Yep.
You know, the worst case scenario, it doesn't work
You don't hit
out.
it off.
That's fine.
And trust me, when I say that too, like I've had many people that I thought, oh, let's take a shot. Maybe they'd like to be friends and maybe we'll take a shot. And I take a shot. It doesn't work out. We're not friends. We talked a couple times and maybe it fizzled out. We tried. That's not a big deal. It's really not a bad thing. I don't think they hate me or anything. We didn't have chemistry, you know, and you know, chemistry, the word chemistry is used a lot in relationships, obviously, like romantic relationships, etc. But chemistry applies to friendships too. You could think someone is really cool and they could think you're cool and you might just not have chemistry. There's nothing, it's okay. You know, it's not, no one did anything wrong, you know, and there's people that like, I think, man, like it would have been cool, like if we had better chemistry and like we, you know, could be better friends, like because I think they're cool and you know they think I'm cool, but like there's not a guarantee that you're gonna have that chemistry. And friendship does need that chemistry. Like at least the best kind of friendships, usually you have a good chemistry to kind of like you know I don't know. It's hard to describe how chemistry works, right? Like I think we had a lot of chemistry in our friendship. Like we knew what each other were gonna say before we said it and stuff like that. Like it's really an intangible thing. It's kind of like describing charisma or charm. It's like you can't really describe it, but you'll know when you really hit it off with someone as a friend. You will know, and it's important. And sometimes you won't hit it off, and sometimes you might think from afar, hey, that person seems really cool, but you don't hit it off, and that's okay. You know, let's go back to it because I'm sure the viewers, well, that's easy for you to say, RaichuU, you're so cool. There's people that I definitely would wanted to be friends with and I took a shot and tried and it didn't work out, and that's okay. And really what it does is makes you appreciate the ones that do work out more. And when you really do form a good bond with someone, you're like, wow, that really feels good. So it makes you appreciate it more. And yeah, again, you have nothing to lose. Give it a shot. Even if your common ground is, yo, like, did you see when RaichuU like picked the wrong box out of 5? Like that was so funny. Like that's so like that. If you're in my streaming community, you already have something automatic. That's the beauty of it. You have a free automatic something in common. Dude, what do you think RaichuU's going to play next? Or like, what do you think like the stream, like, what do you like, I don't know, anything. Like you have a common topic that you can get started with and branch into other things. When King and I first talked, we really didn't know much about each other except that we kind of both streamed. And then we found out, holy crap, we have a lot of things in common. And it's like, you don't know until you try. All we really knew at that point was like, yeah, like we like games to some extent, and we both stream, and they seem cool.
A few mutual friends.
Yeah, like they seem cool. Like yeah, we'll give it a shot. Like you know, why not? And that's kind of what you have to do is you just have to like, and again, it's okay to fail. Like you're not and really like you don't want to be friends with everyone in the world. Like that's really overwhelming. But like you just got to take a shot and try. You know, and it gets easier with time because I know. For me, even sometimes I'm scared. Shit, I could have messaged King Panda 6 months earlier, easily 8 months earlier, 10 months earlier. But I still get scared too. If people get scared, it's okay. But it gets easier with time. So just practice. Like I said during the stream, we had the similar topic. Practice on someone that's like low stakes. And when I say that, I mean like someone that you definitely have something in common with in the RaichuU stream. For example, you guys talk. You've been talking in the RaichuU stream for a while, and you've never DM'd them. Give it a shot because that's an easy one that you have an easy in. Like you already talked to them on my stream, and it's not if you've already been talking to someone on a stream chat or on a Discord chat. It's really not that much harder to just take them to a DM and talk to them there. Like you've already talked to them. It's just in a slightly more private setting. So, yeah, there's very, 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 very minimal bad things that come out of it, other than like, oh darn, I wish we could have been like closer friends, but we just didn't click. No problem. And the good is you can make like incredible friends and like have amazing memories and have all this great stuff. And so that the good is like up here and the bad is like pretty much non-existent. Sorry, King, go ahead if you had anything to add as well.
No, it's absolutely that is the case. That's basically how it's all summed up to me. I fall into a situation of I'm constantly terrified to always talk to new people.
Yeah.
It might not seem like it with me.
Sure, it's easy. It's easy for people. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's I'm actually pretty introverted for
Yep.
like the most part. I don't do too well with like group VC settings. I can go into them, but the moment that people start joining in and they have like these different conversations and topics, I kind of just like
Yeah. Clam up a little bit.
step
Yeah.
back a little bit,
Hmm.
and then or I'll just kind of go quiet and do my own thing,
Yeah.
and then I kind of just leave and go whatever. It's I don't know. It's really tough for me to interact with others.
Yeah.
So um, I if I see that I do bond well with someone, I connect with them well, whether it be we have a few conversations every now and then on like different chats or within Discord, or if we
Yeah.
play the same games or we're excited for like
Yeah.
the same thing that's coming out or whatever. You know, maybe I'll initiate something that's like, oh, I'm gonna send them like this news article about the thing that we're excited about, and be like, oh, what are your thoughts on that? Did you see that? Or
Yep.
there's like like an Etsy craft thing that's like tributed to like a game that we like or whatever. And then kind of see how it goes from there.
Yep.
Maybe we'll have some sort of connection,
Yep.
and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But don't beat yourself over it if it doesn't work out. I mean, it's not the end of the world.
Yep.
It
And it's
is.
okay. You're not gonna
It
you're
will
not gonna
be.
bond with everyone ever in life. I mean, I don't wish that would be a little overwhelming. I barely have time for the people in my life as is, but you know how it goes. It's tough. You want to be friends with everyone, but realistically, I mean, yeah, it's not feasible. So
Yeah, no, but it does make the connections that you
you
do
appreciate them
establish
more.
that much more.
Hmm.
Yeah, that much more special.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I can speak to that firsthand. Yeah. And, and again, you don't have to, it doesn't have to be anything complicated. King messaged me, hey, thanks for like, I had a really nice time playing with you tonight. Like, let's hang out again sometime. That was it. And it spawned into what it is now. So, like, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to, like, come up with anything crazy complicated to say. It can be like, oh, it was really fun. Like, I talked about this example. Oh, it was really fun, like, messing with RaichuU in his stream today with you, like in the chat. It was really fun. I liked going back and forth with you. It's really as simple as that, and it doesn't have to be. You don't have to open. You're not. It's not like you're presenting your resume. It can be as simple as, hey, it was awesome. It was cool to hang out with you today, and then it blossoms from there. And it won't always. Sometimes it might be, oh yeah, it was cool hanging out with you. Okay, we're done. But sometimes it will. And again, that's what makes you really appreciate it when it does blossom from there, and you're like, wow. Like this little thing led to a really great friendship. Like that's freaking cool. And it makes life fulfilling. So King, anything else you wanted to add?
No, I think that's pretty good.
Yeah. So just take a
Pretty well
shot.
said, man.
It's basically what RaichuU was saying before. Take a shot. You have very little to lose. It is scary. Even King Panda's scared. I'm scared. We're all scared. We're all humans. We're all imperfect, and we're all, well, he's a red panda, but we're all imperfect. We all have anxiety. We all doubt ourselves at times. Even the most confident person definitely has plenty of self-doubt. So don't think you're alone in that. You just have to try, that's all. So give it a shot and you might meet someone new, and as a side note, a lot of people told me after those streams I had talking about it, they were telling me stories like, hey, I reached out to X and we had a really, like, it really filled my heart with joy because like people were telling me like, oh, I finally reached out to X person from the community. We had like a really awesome talk. And that literally, King, for that whole week after, people were messaging me that like daily. And every time I was like, oh, that's a great feeling. Like you got that helped you have the courage to like, just give it a shot. And yeah, give it a shot. It's just like anything in life. Give it a shot. Pick up your ukulele, give it a shot. Open your art.
Little goes a long way.
Open your art program, give it a shot. Like if you want something you want to try, it applies to people as well. Hey, I want to try to be friends with this person. I mean, there is you use some level of tact, but if there's clearly some common ground there, give it a shot because it just might work out. You might make a friend and then you're on the very first episode of their podcast ever. So things can happen, really. So bam. Guys, we are back with day 2 And you have a real, well, I mean, you had a real panda the other day, I guess, but you have another real, a different iteration of the real panda right here. There he is. Hi,
Yeah,
King.
there I
How you
am.
doing?
There I am.
There he is. So, I mean, this is all one, for viewers' sake, it's all one video, but, for us, this is completely, it's a new day. A new day is upon us. So much has happened. How are you doing?
Doing great.
Good.
Fantastic. Very busy working
I
on
know.
October related stream stuff.
A lot to do.
Got a little bit carried away last night working on things, but that's okay because I have a lot to show for it.
Yeah, you did. You made some good progress. Yeah, super cool.
Mm-hmm.
The new meme is that that I yap. After Kel said that in your stream yesterday, now everyone just says, "Oh, Raichu is yapping all night," and that's what I was doing yesterday. Is yapping all night with the gang. So good times. Good times. Okie dokie. So we're on question 11 from the last one, but I did want to take. I'm not gonna get carried away, but I'm gonna spend maybe like 2 minutes just touching back on question 10, which was the one about how does one deal with loneliness even within a community. For instance, not having their own group of friends within the community or feeling alone, et cetera, et cetera. So we spent a lot of time talking about that, but after, you know how it goes, after you talk about something, then you think of other things you should have said. So I thought of a couple other points that I should make just for wrapping up the topic fully. So what I was going to talk about, guys, and this is we talked a lot about friends and just having friends and making friends, et cetera, et cetera. So one thing to remember too is that sometimes people feel like they have failed on a friendship if we don't talk every day or anything like that. I've seen a lot of people say stuff like that, like we're not really friends, like we don't talk all that often at all. And like that's in life, you have all kinds of friends, and like there would never be a world where like everyone in your life you could talk to for hours every day. Like no one has time for that, right? So it's like, yeah, you'll have people that you talk to more often. You'll have good friends that you'll talk to less often. I wanted to give an example. One of my dearest friends in the world, who was one of the groomsmen in my wedding, like one of the most important people in my life ever. The last time we had a real conversation was June. It is now September. And that's okay. Like, that is completely normal. You'll have friends that you talk to all the time. You'll have friends that maybe you talk to a little less frequently, maybe a couple times a week or once every couple weeks. And you'll have good friends in your life that you don't talk to all that often, but it doesn't take away your friendship. Like, and it's not a failed friendship. Like, oh, like, this is someone that I only send memes to, like every once in a while I see a meme and I think of them and I send this to them and stuff like that. Like that is not, there's nothing wrong with that type of friendship. You need all types of friendship in life. And it's, you're not going to talk to everyone every day. That's just not how it goes. All of us are busy and all of us have busy lives, and you can't talk to everyone you'd want to talk to every day. So cherish those people too that you can have a conversation with after, even if you don't talk every day. You're having a conversation after a couple months of not talking. Cherish those too. So just kind of, I guess, appreciate everything you have in all regards. King, did you have anything you wanted to, based on me saying that, or anything else you wanted to add?
I always I'm always in a different state where I'm working on something or I'm gone for long periods of time.
Yep.
So most of my connections sometimes do result to long periods of silence.
Yep.
Or there's a larger gap between our communication with a lot of folks that I interact with. And just as you said, it's you can have like the strongest connections with people and still not be able to talk to them for long periods of times, and that's okay.
Yep.
A big thing that that shaped me with learning to be okay with it is actually from Kingdom Hearts 2. When I was playing that as a young lad, and that was when a character was saying it's not about how often that we see each other, but how often that we think of each other is what matters. And that really stuck with me as a kid, because I would be one who would move to different states and move to different schools throughout the course of my childhood. So as a result, that meant that I would have like I would make connections with people, and then I wouldn't see them again for very long periods of time. But it was lines like that had me understand that it's okay
Yep.
to not be able to interact with people every single day.
Yep.
But as long as you carry them close to you in your heart, it's that's all that matters.
And
that's all I had to say about it.
That's a beautiful sentiment. I mean, you know me. I'm not I know a couple things about Kingdom Hearts, not too many, but that's a really beautiful quote, and that's incredibly true. And you know, I talk about it a lot, you know, just thinking that, you know, someone I care about out there might be thinking of me, or like might see something and it makes them think of me. That's something that I think about a lot, and I hold close to my heart and hope that it happens, because I know for me, there's definitely people who probably think like, oh, Raichu doesn't Raichu doesn't think about us, but there's definitely like so many things I see and think of someone, or like, you know, and like you said, it's hard. We all have a lot going on. It would be great. It's another example you used recently was like video games. Like, I don't have time to play everyone's favorite video games. You said that during your stream yesterday. I wish I did. It's the same kind of idea. I mean, I wish everyone I ever cared about, we could all chat for all the time, have all this time together, and I could play all the video games ever. But that's just, unfortunately, you know, it's not realistic. So there's a lot, just like video games. There's a lot of great people out there that, you know, you care about, and you know, you do your best to manage them. Just like, you know, comparing people to video games, you manage playing your games, you manage your people. You got all this different stuff to manage in life. There's a lot. But
yep, absolutely.
Yep, that's you know, I think that's a good closing point. Just, you know, and that I really like that quote. Now I'm excited to hear that quote in Kingdom Hearts 2, because that's something that I definitely feel strongly about. So, thanks for sharing that, King. That was an excellent tie-in. So appreciate that.
Yeah, of course.
All right, question number 11. It's not really a question. It says, "Wow, this is a hard one for King, but it's a good one for me." I can tell they didn't know King Panda was going to be on this. It says, "Say something nice about yourself." From Anonymous.
All
right.
What are you going to say?
I mean, you want me to start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I'll start saying something nice about King Panda. Just kidding. I'll start with me. And then I'll agree with what King says and add on to that. But for me, I don't know. I think I have a good. How do I want to phrase this? I have a good ability to. I don't know. I just have I guess a good ability to use my words to convey things and help. You know, I am a. I don't know. I mean, I guess we're saying nice things about it. I think I'm an eloquent speaker, and I think that I can connect with people via that skill, where other people might be, you know, struggle in that area. It's something that I can do very, very easily, and so yeah, I think it's a powerful, you know, the ability to communicate effectively is a very, very powerful tool in the world, and I think it's why I've had success in my career, and it's why I've had success in my personal life. You know, knock on wood, I think I've had some success. So yeah, and my streaming career, obviously, because that's all about communication too. So yeah, I think I have a strong ability to communicate eloquently.
Very nice.
Your turn, King Panda. My favorite part of the day.
Something nice about myself.
I'm judging you.
That's
I'm
a good
judging
one.
you.
I really like how I guess like I like the drive that I have to create something new or to learn something new. It's not often that when I do interact with a lot with folks, I notice like they have like their own little set of hobbies.
Yep.
People like to do their own things, and they like to stick to them. Some folks don't like to leave their comfort zone very often, and that's absolutely okay. What it is with me is I just like picking up something new. Whenever the interest kind of takes in. So to go with that, like for examples, I in the past I got into doing like video editing because I wanted to do stuff over on YouTube, and I thought, oh well, that would be really cool because I liked watching funny YouTube videos, and I was like, well, I want to make something like that.
Yeah.
So instead of sitting around and just constantly being like, oh, that would be cool to do, but like never do it. I took an entire like weekend and just researched everything, got the programs that I needed to do, started learning, little tutorials and such, and made little effects videos and stuff like that. Um, and then I do that, and then time went on, and then I was like, oh, well, I want to try this other thing, and that was mixing music. Then I got into that. Did the very similar thing. I had an interest in it, and I took the dive. I didn't know what I was doing, and learned how to do that, and had a fun time doing that. And then I was like, cool. Now what? And then I moved on to another thing, and another thing, and another thing. And I really like how I can gain that drive and motivation to constantly push myself outside of my comfort zone. Because the moment I get used to doing something, that's awesome. But then I just I guess I'm kind of just like always looking for the next thing that I can learn. I I just liked the idea of just building these like different sets of uh, skills per se, um, and then I can apply them to more creative stuff that I can do in the future, whether it be working on like graphic design stuff that because I picked up something years ago. Now I can apply it to things like streams. I can apply
Yeah.
audio mixing knowledge over to broadcasts. I can provide my video editing knowledge to Twitch stuff now.
Yeah.
It's I like that. But it is a double-edged sword because it does make me very stubborn with um with asking for help on stuff.
Mm.
I'm very much no, I'll do it. But it does lead me into doing a lot of I'm working a lot harder to get a result that can eventually just be done a lot easier if I just asked for the help. It The reason why I got into things like Unity or Blender was because I didn't have the funds to spend
Yeah.
on a professional grade VTuber or live 2D avatar or anything for streams. Instead, it was a matter of, okay, that's expensive, but what if I do it on my own?
Yeah.
And I sat down, and that took me maybe 2 months of back and forth, error messages, crashes, rebuilding a project from the ground up for like the 20th time. Um, and then eventually I got to a point where, okay, I know the fundamentals of it, so then let's push it forward. Now it was, oh, let me convert a VR chat model to become a VTuber.
Yeah.
How do I get that to just work? How do I get them to just follow my eyes or follow my head motion or my arms or whatever? And then it was, okay, then how do I make the ears wiggle? Um, and then it was, oh, okay, how do I add props to them? How do I add the keyblades? How do I make the keyblades have like weight to them? How do I allow myself to have like an idle like ear animation or anything like that? It was always another step forward to something else. And then now look at where I've come from it.
Yeah.
I've originally it was just I'm going to work on my model and my model only, and now I've worked on over 35 to 40
Wow.
different VTuber models, as well as setting up VTuber um, avatar commissions for a number of friends and individuals, as well as doing retexturings for them. And that all started because I was like, no, I'm stubborn. I don't want. I can't afford this.
Yeah.
So let me learn it. And then now I'm setting out that knowledge, or people are asking me, King, I'm trying to work on this specific model, but I'm running into this problem. How did you do this? And I'm like, oh yeah, here, let me send you some resources on that real quick. And if you need help, let me know. I'll be more than happy to help on it. But yeah, that's it's always something new that I'm looking for. Even now, I'm getting back into playing music again.
Yeah.
My next my next endeavor, whenever I can find it, is actually learning how to play a trumpet.
Oh
But
boy.
I need to find the trumpet at first, so that's gonna be a whole thing. So, but yeah, no, I'm always. I think that's the biggest thing I probably like about myself is that I'm always interested in learning something new, and I think that's always really beneficial.
Well, first off, I want to say, guys, you would not have expected King Panda just said something nice about himself longer than I said something nice about myself. So first off,
Yeah, I
I
did go
was
on a tangent
thrilled.
there.
I was thrilled. That was great. Second funny point. Yeah, I can attest to King's stubbornness when I was trying to help him with setting up the quotes. He didn't want to get help, but we got him there in his stream with getting like the ad quote and stuff set up. And the third note, yeah, I mean, I can definitely say that's an amazing trait about you, and it helped inspire me. I mean, you've seen all the new things, even like music. Like I told you that you're the one that pushed me into that, and definitely I can see your drive to learn new things, and that definitely motivated me. So I think that's a side benefit of having a trait like that is that you also inspire others. So it's not just helping yourself, but you also inspire those around you. So I think that's really cool. You know me, I'm all about inspiring others. So I think that's a really cool thing that you can that you do. I mean, not that you can do, you literally do that. You inspire others. So that's super awesome. So yep, I agree with everything you said because they were all nice things about yourself. So the RaichuU concurs. Alrighty, my friend, are you ready
Thank
for
you.
a question 12?
Let's go.
All right. What is something you want to improve on your stream?
Hmm. That's really good.
If you're ready, yeah, go ahead. You're always first, but if you need time, you can just let me know and I can go.
I would say no, that's okay. I would say the thing I really want to improve on my stream is I guess more like communication, engagement with my overall community,
Mhm.
um, as well as more more focus on collaborations
Mhm.
with the channel. Um, I feel like I do well enough on my own like little bubble,
Yeah,
um, my own little corner there on Twitch, but there's always rooms for improvement when it comes
sure.
to my engagement to the community, and that's I see a bunch of people doing in server movie nights, or I see them
Yep.
doing like VR chat meetups, or even just regularly hanging out inside of their voice channels and their Discord servers, or something on stream. Whether they're interacting with the community with like playing games with them and like open lobbies,
Yep.
doing things like marbles, or raffles or stuff like that. I know that engagement doesn't necessarily mean I need to always do like a sweepstakes or something like that. It can just be something very simple,
Yeah.
whether it be setting up a new command that the community can interact with, like how recently you've introduced me to the quotes command.
Yeah.
People they have interacted with it, and they do show interest with it.
Hmm.
So even something small like that can go a long way, and it's something that I I do want to see myself improve on. I feel like ever so slowly we're getting there, but naturally I'm a very closed or shy introverted individual.
Hmm.
So it feels different to do something like a YouTube channel where you film a video, you edit the video and you post it, and people will comment on it, or they'll view it and share it and do whatever. But that's it. The
Yeah.
topic that you've discussed with them is over. That's done. And with streaming, you're doing everything in the moment, live, and it can be a little bit daunting for an introvert
Yeah.
to try to adjust and adapt to that kind of environment. When I first started into streams, we'd get like maybe one or two viewers or so, but those were usually just my friends who were joining in on the broadcast, just viewing it,
Yeah.
because I told them that I was starting out or whatever. Or most of the time they had to find me because even though I was starting out, I didn't want to tell them that I was
Yeah.
streaming.
Too shy. You don't want to bother them.
Yeah, I didn't want to bother them, so they had to find me,
Yeah.
and then they stuck around for the later streams. But now, it's not, um, it's not that that original comfort zone anymore, where it's like everyone that I know, the 3 viewers that are on there, are my friends.
Right.
Now it's we there's a viewer count that's in the double digits
Yep.
that, maybe 5 of them, 4 or 5 of them are like close friends of mine,
Yeah.
but the rest are uh they're the audience. They're folks out there around that just really like the broadcast and such, and I'm very grateful for that.
Yep.
But it's I'm not in that comfort zone anymore where I don't know everybody that's there.
Yep.
So then I need to put on this not necessarily a performance per se, but I do need to be aware on uh how others they don't know how I am. They
Yep.
don't know how I actually am beyond the broadcast, beyond the screen.
Yeah.
My close friends, they know how to interact with me. They
Mhm.
know what I'm like in a VC channel. They know what I'm like when I'm not on stream. So they can tell minor differences from when I'm live to when I'm not live.
Yeah.
When I'm live, I can be a little bit more enthusiastic for things, but
Mhm.
when I'm not live, I'm very
You're a chill
I would
guy.
like to think that I'm very calm.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a little reserved normally. Uh, and I'm a very speak when spoken to kind of individual. Um, so if I continue to like do that, be super reserved, and there's this community that we built up, there there might be the chance that they're gonna think like, oh, maybe they just don't like me,
Yeah.
or maybe I don't feel welcome into the community.
Right.
And I assure everyone that that's part of the community. They're very much welcome. I just need to get I need to get better at my interactions. So um, with me going off on that long tangent again, yeah. So the question overall is, I would love to see interactions improve on my community, whether we do movie nights, VR chat meetups, and things like that. Something that does allow me to get closer with the community at safe levels, of
Yep.
course. Things can always get a little wild or a bit uncomfortable with when you're meeting with strangers on the internet.
Yep.
But that if you do it safely and you have the support of your friends, or if your modding community is it's very present and community and active with you, you can handle that
Yep.
just fine. But that's something that I need to work on, as well as with collaborations. Very same thing. I'm very much an introvert. If I do join group channels for like even like a hangout, and we touched upon that in the previous recording of the podcast, is that I'll be there, I'll hang out, but I'll be pretty quiet.
Yeah.
I'll kind of just take a step back as I analyze everybody. Um, Especially if it's like the first time that I'm hearing everybody, let alone seeing
Yeah.
people. Um, and that's okay. I just need to understand, like, okay, these are my limits, and if I need to step away, then I can step away. But I do want to at least make it aware, or known that I do enjoy those interactions. I just don't have the social battery
Right.
per se that lasts long enough
Yeah.
for me to be in those kinds of situations. So I think over time I can improve with that, but with interacting with folks like yourself, and various other really talented streamers that are out there who I can consider my friends. Um, I think by picking up little bits and pieces from each and every single one of you, I think that has shaped how I've interacted with my community prior to when I started, to today. So that's what I would say for my answer on that.
No, that's a great answer. And so I touched upon it on the last podcast day we talked, and I have my little pen, I have some paper, and I was taking notes, so I remembered what to say after you were done eloquently describing that there. So yeah, I mean, I can say from my perspective, that's my strong point is community. I talk about it a lot. That is literally the strongest suit that I have in my stream is, we have game nights, we have movie nights. In fact, we have a game night. I was going to invite you. We're going to have a game night in 13 days on a Saturday. But yeah, so like yeah, we have events planned, and we've fallen behind a bit, but we used to do weekly, multiple times a week, almost game nights and movie nights and all this different stuff. We've got some movie nights planned. We got a lot of stuff planned. So yeah, that's definitely an area. I mean, I think you could see that too. I mean, we had the whole, well, you joined a bit later, but I mean, before you even got on last night, we had like 10, 15 people from the community in there, and it dwindled as the night went on, as it got late. But yeah, I mean, that's us. Like, everyone is so bonded from hanging out, from being a part of the community for so long. And the awesome part about my community is as well that like everyone is always welcoming. Like, we have all of these people that are like the 5-year veterans watching TheRaichuuu forever. And then we have the newer people that join, and everyone just gets on super well. It's really cool. And I hope for you, as someone, especially who's, joined our community more recently, like, I think you can see just how much like people are super nice to like someone new, like out of the blue. King Panda's here. He's like on the TheRaichuuu stream, like guest hosting, and everyone was just super sweet and awesome. So I think that's definitely a strength of us, is like, we treat our veteran community members, everyone treats each other great, but they also welcome new people really, really well. And that's just kind of the environment that I've fostered. Is like, me, I believe in supporting each other, like being nice to each other, being kind, openly supportive of each other. Like, so that's like the main things that I have always focused on, and we've done a great job. And I think, the bad eggs just kind of weed themselves out, because it's not an environment where, we're going to be assholes to each other. Like, everyone is just super supportive and awesome to each other. So I think the people that don't like that kind of thing just kind of naturally don't they see themselves out the door, so to speak. So yeah, it's a great thing. Sorry, I will get to what I want to improve. A few other points. You talked about you operate as an introvert on a talking when spoken to kind of basis. So I am aware of that's kind of the introvert mindset, and that's what I tried to, this is a complete tangent, that's what I tried to utilize last night by bringing you in to topics when I could. So would you say that I did a good job of bringing in an introvert in that regard? Because that's what I was going for last night.
Yeah, no, and I caught on to that.
Okay, yeah.
There would be certain topics referred to with the group at that time, and then I would pick up by hearing you be like, King Panda, what do you think about that? And I was like, yeah. No, you did a fantastic job with doing that. That's I do appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's very kind, because sometimes it can be a little weird to or difficult for me to kind of insert myself into a conversation, especially when it's with folks that I haven't spoken to in person before. I might have seen it. Communication between a chat and an active VC is always different.
It's night and day. Yep, 100%. Even for me, I'm not an introvert, but even for me, it's still night and day, 100%. So, and and for you introverts out there, I just want to also emphasize, like, don't think like, oh, that's like, it's bad that I get nervous in these situations, because shit, even I just went to that VR meetup with King Panda, like, what was that, 2-3 weeks ago now? And I'll admit, guys, I'm an extrovert. I was still a little nervous. Like, I'm going in and there's probably going to be a lot of people I don't know, and some people I do know. But like, it's okay. Like, even extroverts, even everyone gets nervous sometimes. Like, that's okay. And there's nothing wrong with that. You're not weird or different for being nervous in a situation like that. I would be nervous if I just joined a voice chat with like 10 people that I'd never talked to. I think I would get over the nervousness, but I would still feel that initial nervousness. It's natural for anyone to feel like that. So yeah, I just want everyone to kind of know that it's not there's nothing wrong with feeling like that, because I know people go like, oh, I'm an introvert, like, you know, like, and frame it as a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. Everyone has value, and we all get nervous, we all get scared, we're all just doing our best out there. So yeah, I appreciate your kind words to me there, King. Another note, you made a point about people, how people would perceive you off stream versus on stream. And it's just kind of a funny opportunity for an anecdote for me, because I remember back in the day when people didn't know me well and they would hear me outside of my stream, because you know on the TheRaichuuu stream, I'm a pretty hype guy, right? So they would hear me talking like this, or like at a normal level, you know, like we're communicating right now, and they'd be like, "Raichuuu, are you okay? Like, are you depressed?" And it's so funny, because even on the stream, sometimes I would have like a low energy day. I'd be like just talking like this, and people would come on and they would be so, and it's very wholesome. They would be so genuinely concerned. "Raichuuu, are you okay? Dude, are you sad? Like, what's wrong?" And I'm just like, "No, guys, I just, you know, it's just, I can't, it's hard to be at that level 24/7. Sometimes you gotta give yourself a little breather, you know?" And
Right.
I think, you know, you'll you know, it's very different too. Like, a lot of people haven't spent, one-on-one time with me, and I am a much more reserved person, like one-on-one. Like if we were hanging out in person one-on-one, versus like say at a con with like 10 people, but I'm the type, like, and this is all completely on a tangent, but like I'm the type, like, in a group, like I want to be the voice, like I'm going to be the kind of, like, you know, my attitude, the leader. I'm going to be loud. I'm going to be kind of like, you know, the life of the party, so to speak. Even if it's not a party, it's like the life of the group. But like in a one-on-one situation, yeah, I think it's weird for people who hang out with me in those group type environments, and then they hang out with me one-on-one. Like if we were hanging out one-on-one, like I would be totally, you'd probably think I was an introvert. I'd be like very calm, like chill, like, you know, quiet-ish. And yeah, so I think it's an interesting contrast rather. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because you made that point, and it made me think of how people always were worried that I was depressed because they only heard me on stream, and they didn't know that TheRaichuuu is actually a pretty calm guy. I just, you know, I like to liven up the group type situations, so I'm a bit louder generally in those type of situations. And my third point on your topic was, yeah, if you need any help at all in regards to, like, you know, doing more community type stuff, please don't hesitate to reach out. I know you don't. We just talked about this. You don't like to ask for help, but I can definitely help in any way you need, even if it's just someone holding your paw to make you a little more comfortable. I'm happy to help in any way that I can. So don't hesitate to ask. That is my forte.
That's very kind. Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, so what would I like to improve on my stream? Wow, we talked all that time and we didn't even get to my point yet. All right. Raichuuu's yapping. What would I like to improve on my stream? I think for me, you know, it's for me, and what I've been working on is just kind of like King talked about doing his own things. Like for me, it's about I'm trying to expand my knowledge in areas just to kind of do stream improvements, like increasing my knowledge of just even using OBS, using VC Face, these different programs. I just want to. I don't want to. I'm trying to put myself in a position, because for many, for a lot of my life, I lived in a situation where if I didn't know something, I would just, instead of learning, I would just go ask someone that I knew, just because you know, that's easier. But I definitely want to learn things for myself, and kind of just I want to take on, you know, and it's a daunting task to learn these things. But yeah, I want to do that. I want to. You know, I want to put out more content. You know, I've started doing the YouTube videos this week, like a Let's Play series on YouTube. So I'm doing that. I'm doing the podcast, and in addition to my stream. So I guess I just want to branch out and have other outlets to express myself that tie into the stream, more ways that people can enjoy. Because yeah, I guess it all comes back to the community again, because a lot of our community members, because of time zones and whatnot, it's hard for people to watch. And so having other content that they can consume and enjoy without, because you can watch the stream VODs, but it feels kind of bad when you missed out on the stream. Like, yeah, you can still watch it, but a lot of people kind of feel left out. But having this other content they can consume, like podcasts, YouTube videos on the daily, I just like that idea that people can have more content to consume from me. So I guess that's what I want to improve on, is just keep a consistent flow of content for everyone to enjoy, as well as continuing to learn and improve my own knowledge about the different aspects that go into streaming, all the little programs we use, because there's so many different programs and all these different things you can learn. So for me, it's just more of a general, even like learning to use, you're learning to use, what's the freaking program called? Clip Studio Paint, I think it's called, to make my schedules and stuff, like just things like that, even graphics and, all kinds of things to learn just to improve my stream experience as a whole, and be able to say, yeah, I did that on my own and I didn't need to rely on someone else. I did it, and something that I can be proud of, and it's, like you talked about, like it's scary getting started with something new, but it's also an exciting and rewarding journey to see yourself improve. And so that's kind of what I want to do, is make improvements and learn and just kind of broaden my own knowledge, because sometimes you can, and again, we're going to circle back, like sometimes you get too comfortable in your comfort zone, and sometimes it's good to step out of it and try new things. So King, you definitely helped inspire a lot of that in me, so I appreciate that. And I want to, I think that pretty much covers it. I want to keep doing what I'm doing, but continue to learn and do it even better. So yeah.
Nice.
Thank you. Anything else, or shall we move to the next one?
I think we can move on to the next one.
All righty. This is a good one. Well, at least it's gonna be a quick one. Sorry, King, you can't answer this. I mean, I guess you could answer it if you're gonna have a podcast. The question is, who would be your first podcast guest? Myself, technically. I'm my first own guest. But no, so I brought King on. I think King and I have a really we're very good at communicating, and I thought it'd be fun. I thought it'd be awesome to have him here. We're good communicators. I think we have the same mindset on a lot of things, and so I felt like we would mesh well. We have good friend chemistry in terms of having conversations. So I thought it would just be an easy conversation to have, and it would be fun. And as you guys know, I'm a big fan of this guy, King Panda. So I thought it'd be a cool person to have on first. So that's where we're at.
That's very kind. I again, genuinely thank you for bringing me onto this as like a launching point for the for those podcasts, because I'm really excited to see like future guests that will be present on here, and seeing what all the topics that get discussed, and maybe being able to submit my own questions onto it too.
There you go.
I'm always excited to see
absolutely
what kind of stuff is going to happen.
Yeah, you asked some good ones on the subathon, so definitely I'm excited for those too. All righty. I think we're good there. Question number 14. Oh, this will be, I know where King Panda is going to go with this one. Favorite quote? That's a great question. I'm sure you probably have an answer, because you have you probably have something from Kingdom Hearts or Final Fantasy X, if I had to guess. So hit us, King Panda, or multiple if you have multiple. Any quotes you like?
Let me. I gotta think about that. Let me think about it for a little bit.
Sure, I will start with mine. So mine is actually a classic quote from Winnie the Pooh. And I'm going to make sure I have it up here so that I don't screw up the exact wording. But basically, I have it up. And the quote is, if ever there's a tomorrow when we're not together, there is something you must always remember. You are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. But the most important thing is, even if we're apart, I'll always be with you. And that's something super important for me. I'm getting a little choked up. I got a little tear in my eye whenever I read that quote. I get a little choked up. So I gotta focus. I was trying to get through it, but no, that's a really important quote for me. Just in general, I mean, I think you guys in the community, you're very aware of the fact that like I my passion is like motivating others and like bringing others up. So it's like for me, and I'm all choked up, but like it's super important to me like that, like, you know, I won't always like, I can't always be in everyone's ears all the time, like telling them to like believe in themselves and stuff. And so it's an important quote to me because, like, yeah, it's like, even if we're apart, I hope that the things that I've said to you and the things that we've, you know, that we've experienced together, all that stuff, it's kind of like, I hope that it'll still be with you. And like, maybe you're doubting yourself and you remember that one time that Raichu said, come on, no, you're amazing. Like, you got this. And then you remember that, and maybe it helps you through a tough situation or something. So, I'm so choked up, Raichu. You got to hold it together. But no, like it's a really it's a super important quote to me. That's like my life philosophy. Is like I hope that my words will ring ring true with people even when I'm not there, because I can't be in everyone's ears all the time helping them. So I hope that people remember that they are better than they give themselves credit for, and that even if I'm not there to tell them that, I hope that they remember that. So, all right, I got to drink some water. King, you go. Your turn. I'm so choked up.
Well, there's a number of quotes, of course, that I can go through, but I mean, one of them, of course, was the one that we had just touched upon when we were talking about our previous topics here, and that was the quote of it's not about how often that we see each other, but how often that we think of each other. That one I hold really, really dear to myself, especially when it comes to my connections with my friends. Another one that I always really liked is coming from Final Fantasy X. I won't state when this gets spoken, but it's always at a point that constantly makes me cry. And that's that quote is it's dealing with losing people close to you. Connections are always everything to me.
Yep.
How we form them, how they last, and how we interact with them over time, because they can really make a difference, especially if you're in a darker place.
Yep.
But the quote that I chose for Final Fantasy X. Again, I'm not going to say when it actually gets spoken. You'll get to it when you play it. anyone that's watching, you get to it when you play it. But it's a quote that says, "The people and the friends that we have lost, or the dreams that have faded, never forget them."
Yep.
That one holds extremely close to me. As mentioned before, there can be long periods of time where either you just don't interact with those that you had in the past very often, and sometimes those exact connections can sometimes even fizzle out.
Yeah.
And not continue. But what's important is that how you remember the good times in those moments that you had with that individual. Another one that it's very, very simple, and it's very sweet, is from the sequel to that game, Final Fantasy X 2. Is cherish me and I'll cherish you. Again, connections mean absolute everything to me, and I'll always keep those close to my heart moving forward. But yeah, Final Fantasy X and Kingdom Hearts. When I say that they really shaped me to be who I am here today, with having become like the building blocks of how I approach connections and friendship, is not something that I just blab around and be like, oh yeah, no, of course it changed me. Like, no, it really it really did, like, forge something for me. And I don't know, the growing up, I've been able to really internalize these messages that uh, these forms of media have always that they've presented to me. As a kid, you know, you hear these things and you're like, oh, okay, really cool, whatever. And it's the characters are funny and they're pretty colors, and oh man, this game is it's really fun to play, whatever. But growing up, then I'm taking a step back, and I'm understanding, like, okay, these are the actual messages. These are the conflicts that these characters are having, and you know, I may not be in a fantasy world fighting off a giant space whale in a Final Fantasy game, but I can definitely relate to losing a loved one,
Yep.
and how that feels, and what is it like to continue to go on and to know that it's okay to grieve, um, and to not give up, or essentially to shape my story,
Yep.
and really forge my path, to not really follow along with tradition, just because someone says that you have to do that. You can forge your own path as you see fit.
Yep.
And that was something that also that game Final Fantasy X does teach me, but I didn't realize how much I would have to really um, focus on internalizing that for the future, especially when um, you know, coming out with my sexuality,
Yep.
and trying to understand that, you know, it's okay to not be it's okay to not really focus on, like, the traditions that, you know, my family would have wanted me to always follow.
Right.
It's okay to branch out and to do something that I want to do. Um, and if they're supportive of it, awesome. And if they're not, well, that's unfortunate. But
Yep.
end of day, it's my story.
Yep.
And if they don't want to be a part of it, then that's on their loss. But those would be the quotes that I would pull from memory there.
No, I loved him, and I think the quote from FF10, you know, about cherishing those times you had with people you've lost. I mean, yeah, it is a really powerful thing. You know, like, hold on, wow, this is an emotional segment. I'm keeping my composure together, but like during in 2020, one of my dear friends that I had known for at that point almost 15 years passed away from COVID, and it was super hard, and like I still think about him, and like I see things, and it sucks, right? Because like it's like we were talking about, like you I see things and I'm like, oh, I gotta show him that. Like just the other day I saw something and I was like, oh, I gotta show like that is, and then it's like you remember, like I can't show him that. So it's hard, and but you know, we have these great memories, and it's still nice to have, like, you have your memories in the past, but you also, even though they're not there, you can still make memories with them in the future, in the sense that I see something like that and I think, oh man, if he was here with me and we saw that, like we would be laughing so hard, and it would just be a whole thing, and it would be so funny, and like if I could tell him this happened or that happened, like he would love that, like. And so you're kind of like, yeah, it's just like you keep their memory alive by thinking of them. And you know, it goes back to your other quote about, like, you know, how often we think about someone. Like I can't ever go talk to him, but I can keep him alive, like, you know, by thinking about him, and making these moments that you know, it just, yeah, like I said, imagining these moments that would have, you know, happened were he still here with us, like imagining those moments that would have happened, and yeah, creating new moments. So I think it's a pretty cool thing. And yeah, no, I really liked I liked your quotes that you shared, and I think, yeah, it's super important. And you know, King brought up a really good point. Sometimes those connections do fizzle out, not even because of a unfortunate, like, passing, but just you know, like that you guys fade out over time, and that's okay too. There's many friends in my life that are still very much alive, that I don't have that line of communication with like we used to, and I still, those people I think about all the time. The thoughts pop into my mind, memories, good times we shared together, and that's okay. And that's just kind of even circling back to that friendship topic. That's just how things go, and it doesn't mean anyone failed or anyone did anything wrong. It's just how life goes. We can't. You can't keep everyone that ever mattered close to you at all times forever. And sometimes it does fade away, or something happens, like King said earlier, you move away, whatever it may be. But you can always, those memories never have to die. The friendship may have faded, or God forbid, someone passed away. My grandma passed away last year, she was one of my best friends in the world. And I still have those memories as well. And so, yeah, it's like, basically, yeah, we're getting a little heavy here, but yeah, the quote, the idea of just, cherish those things, despite, even if you're not together, or you're not, don't have that line of communication as a friendship before, that's okay. And, enjoy those beautiful memories. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's a great thing, is that those, like I said, those memories never have to go. Those memories can be with you as long as you keep going on. As long as you keep going, those memories will be with you. And yeah, you, like King said, also you have to forge your own path and do your own thing. And that's kind of like you gotta keep going. You gotta keep going. So, yep, that is it for that question. I think on my end, King, how are you feeling? Do you want to jump to the next one?
Yep.
All right. I'm gonna actually break up the clip. I'm gonna hit stop. Okie dokie, y'all. We just finished up our favorite quote. So thank you for that that good question. That was fun. I knew King would have some good ones for that, and he did. He proved me right. Thank you, King. All right. Question number 15 out of 16. We are on the home stretch. It is loading. I wonder if this is okay. Here we go. Okay. So I was aware that this question was coming. Because a friend of mine actually asked me about it off stream, or a community member / friend asked me about it off stream, and I and asked if I should, or off podcast, I guess, and asked should I submit this as a question, and I said, yeah, go ahead and submit it as a question, because other people might have the same question. So I can probably start on this, King. It's a bit of a more high level, I don't know, loaded question is the right word, but anyway, the question is, what do you do when you feel like a specific person might not think highly / well of you? Sometimes might be just overthinking, sometimes not. What's your take on it, Rai? So I will go into the advice that I gave this person, which I don't, to be honest, this isn't really the full question that they asked me. It's like a section of it, sort of. But so the advice I gave this person is, at the end of the day, like if people aren't putting out, if people aren't, basically, if you're not getting the energy that you, I'm not sure how I'm wording this. It's, and this is what King said. It's a lot easier to type it out. When I typed it out, it was like the most eloquent message. And now I'm here trying to say it on the podcast, and it's not so crystal clear to say. But really, if they're not, if it doesn't seem like someone's taking a liking to you. So the example this person used was like, basically they interact with someone in our community, and the responses they get aren't necessarily like, it doesn't seem like that person enjoys, I guess, hearing it. So like basically, and I'm not trying to, I want to keep everyone's anonymity. Obviously, this is an anonymous person, but basically it's like, oh, I say nice, like I compliment this person, and then they don't seem to like really respond, or like they kind of just ignore my message. So, I mean, realistically, at the end of the day, right, there's two parts to this. Is like, number one, different people react to things differently. So it's hard. You don't want to put too highly like, oh, this is how I would respond to that. Because, that's not necessarily how other people might take it, or how they might respond to it. The second part is, at the end of the day, you have to take a step back, and it comes back to like reading the situation. Take a step back. If it doesn't seem like they like it when you interact with them like that, or if they're not appreciating it or whatever, then you kind of have to take a step back and maybe not interact with them like that. Because if you're not gaining anything, you're not going to like convince them. If they don't like it when you compliment them, for whatever reason that may be, if they don't like that, then take a step back and think about it. And if you have to, I know it's hard to, like, if that's the type of person you are, it's hard to not do that. But at some point, you kind of have to try to take a step back and not do that, because you're not like, you're only hurting yourself if you're gonna feel bad. And I know this person feels bad when they don't get like the response that they want. So it's like, you kind of have to take a step back, and you have to realize, like, yeah, if it doesn't seem like they like it, read the situation. If they don't like it, then you might have to not interact with them like that. And that's hard, as again, you got to be yourself at the end of the day. But if they don't like you being yourself with them, then maybe you just don't have the friendship chemistry, and maybe it wasn't meant. You guys weren't meant to be like close friends. And I know this person wants to be close with this other person, from what they've told me. But yeah, I mean, sometimes it's just not. Sometimes it sucks, and sometimes, like we talked about it on the first part of the podcast, sometimes you want to have this connection with someone, and you don't have the connection. Just doesn't happen, and that's okay. But yeah, basically, yeah, just kind of to use your best judgment, take a read of the situation, and if it doesn't seem like they are, if they don't like you, well, unfortunately in life, I'm sure there's plenty of people that don't like me, and it sucks, and it's never easy. It's never easy to come to that conclusion that, oh, I guess they just don't like me. Like, that sucks. But you do have to sometimes come to that conclusion. Don't like, let's not get carried away. Like, don't like, oh, they didn't react like the way I thought they should one time. Well, they hate me. But like, when you can really, when the signs are there that maybe they just don't want to interact with you like that, or they don't even want to be friends, or they're, that could be the case. And maybe you just don't have that friendship chemistry, and then that's okay. You can't have it with everyone. So sorry, I babbled a lot there, King. Anything you'd like to talk about in regards to this topic?
I think you covered it pretty much all that you really could. It's never the ideal situation, when a connection like that is trying to be formed or built, and it just doesn't pan out.
Yep.
The way that we're wanting it to. And it sucks, but it's okay, and it's not the end of the world. It's fine to be sad about it.
Yep.
But don't let it linger.
Yep.
There's no point in having a negative reaction like this last for a long time.
Yep.
For someone that just doesn't, it's just not going to work out like the way in
exactly.
that way.
You can't change someone, and at the end of the day, if they if you're not going to have that chemistry, you can't magically create it. It's there or it's not there, and if it's not there, and yeah, it is sad, but it is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But you've laid it out pretty well.
Thank you.
With your responses there. So big props to you, because that would have been a really tough topic for me to to try to open into.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, it can be tough, and it has happened. It has happened to me a number of times too.
Sure.
It does hit pretty hard, especially when you are an introvert and you try to go out of that comfort zone to try to connect with someone, and it's just like a flat out like no.
Yeah.
It can hurt, but again, you can really take that drive and take that effort that you would have put into this potential friendship or connection. You can apply that to other connections that you want to make, or if you have existing friends, go ahead and talk to them, go and interact with them. Don't think just because someone says that they don't want to interact with you, or you just don't click, that it's the end of the world, because it really isn't.
Yep, and can you imagine all those idiots who missed out on King Panda being their friend? What fools they are! What idiots! Absolute buffoons! But
oh god!
But circling back again, we talked about it in the first part of the podcast. But when having those failed kind of I don't know if failed is the right word, but when you just don't click and you want it to click, but it doesn't click, it makes it feel more special when you do find someone that you really do click with. And it's like, you kind of like, oh, so that's what it should be like when I really hit it off with someone and we're like, make a great connection. Like that's what it should feel like. Okay, awesome. So yeah, it does add value to those other, I think it adds value to your other friendships and other friendships that you could potentially make along the way. It's like it makes those feel more special because you know what a failed one feels like, and then when you have one that really just like a perfect, amazing click, then it feels freaking fantastic. So I think King would agree with that.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
100%. Okay. Well, I almost said the person's name because I know who it's from, but I'm not going to say their name. This is private. But thank you, anonymous person, that I know your name. I appreciate it. All right. Question 16. You ready, King?
Yep.
All righty. Interesting. What? I think they missed a word here. What would you, when you have a friend, what would you do? There should be a do in there. What would you do when you have a friend that you consider very talented, but him himself doesn't believe in that and is very demotivated, like a musician, artist, etc.? Yeah, so anything. King, this is another heavy topic. Did you want me to start, or do you want to start on this?
I can start on it
All right,
because
hit us.
I've interacted with of numerous friends who unfortunately that this is something that does plague them
Yep.
a lot. And uh when it comes to them talking about, or lack of talking about, their accomplishments or goals, um I really just try to emphasize, look how far that you've come,
Yeah.
with everything that you've done. They can try to play off that, oh, it's anyone could do this. It's not really that important, or it shouldn't really be that memorable, or whatever. But I always try to have them see, like, okay, but like, in my eyes, I hold you in a high regard. I'm seeing your accomplishments, and I think they're amazing because you're doing this. I'm not doing this,
Yep.
but you did, and that's really cool. I wouldn't even know where to start, and you've done this. You've done this achievement. Um,
Yep.
On your own, with your hard work. So it is something to be celebrated. And just to really emphasize that they're appreciated, and they know their worth. And it can be tough, on both ends for
Yeah.
it. Um, um, having to struggle with either learning that your your accomplishments are actually worth mentioning. Because there are times where even I'm doing something and I'm like, I don't really think I should tell anybody that I did this thing,
Yeah.
or that I completed this thing, because it's not. I mean, it's not really. It doesn't really matter. But then when it does come up, I talk about it, and then my support group, my friends or my family, are like, "Really? That's insane that you did that. That's
Yeah.
cool. Why didn't you tell me sooner?" Um, it's tough to kind of get that confidence to do that, and it can be tough with it being that support too. Having to um, e- uh, ensure that that individual knows that they're appreciated with everything that they do, whether it be music or art, writing.
Yep.
My friend recently published self-published his very first book.
Yep.
And I'm I'm like an active promoter for it.
Yeah. I heard about.
And
I knew about it from your stream. Yeah.
I'm singing its praises,
Yeah.
and he's my friend. He's always super shy about it too.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm extremely proud of him.
Yeah.
And I've always I've always telling him, you should promote it more, because I mean, I've gone through the book, and it's really good. It's actually really good. But it's funny because he's always like, oh well, I mean, you're my friend, so like you might be like a little biased
right.
to like it as a result. And I was like, okay, well, I get that, but I've also started to get into reading in general, like this year, after many years of not reading books
Yep.
at all. And reading his was probably my fifth or sixth book for the year. And I just have to, I always constantly try to emphasize to him, it's like, even if I didn't know you, right? If I did not know you, and I still picked up the book and I still sat down with it, it is still an amazing story. I still love how it's written. I love the characters. I love the world. I love the setting. I love the action scenes, the fighting scenes that are inside of his novel. That does not change my view on what you wrote,
Right.
and I still hold you in that high regard. But yeah, it's tough. If ever you're you know of someone who does constantly feel demotivated, or they're not really appreciating their own works, right? Do show them all the support that you can, if possible. Let them know that the things that they're creating and the things that they're doing, it does matter, and it's amazing. And to never stop creating. It's they're putting out something that's theirs, and it should be celebrated. And it's a little goes a long way. Even if some folks are like, okay, well, you give them a little bit, you give them some praise on it. You're celebrating their accomplishments. If they don't look that they're accepting it, like on the surface, like immediately, like, oh my god, thank you so much, it's like a, okay, well, that's really kind. Even just having them smile, or even just do like a as you're praising them,
That's King
it
Panda.
goes a long
He
way.
me a lot.
it goes a long way, because it is something that does stick with that person for a very long time. To know that the thing that they did impacted someone even just by a little bit, goes a long way. So that's what I would have to say about that.
Sorry for cutting in there. You just said that when they say and I'm like, yeah, I've been there. King Panda's to me when I've said something nice to him before. Yeah. That's hilarious. All right, I took some good notes, but yeah, I think you brought up a lot of excellent points there. Fun fact, and this is a perfect tangent for me. Many people don't know I'm a writer, and I self-published a novel as well. Yeah, many people don't know. Yeah.
No. Wow.
Yep.
Learning a RaichuU fact.
I have always loved writing. And yeah, I published a novel in 2000. Well, I finished it in 2011, and I published it in 2012. And one of our community members actually asked me about sending them a link to that recently. So thanks, Aaron. I'll give you a little shout out while we're here. And I think he was reading it, so that's cool. And yeah, so I think it's absolutely natural that we all do that kind of thing, where we are, even people that are confident might be shy to share certain things. I mean, I'm shy. Every time I send King a music clip, I'm freaking shy, and like, this is going to be horrible. Every time, talking about my novel, most of you guys don't know that I wrote a novel, because it's very easy to get in your own head and say, is this good? I don't know about that, but at the end of the day, yeah, yeah, I think people do great things and need to be appreciated for them. This is I can tell why someone would ask me this question, because this is like my strength in life. I'm not shy to tell people what I like about them or what I like that they've created. Our podcast guest here is very, very well aware of that fact. That is the one thing that I highly it's something I care very much about, is others seeing the goodness in themselves, not even just related to talent, which this question's about, but in general, the great things about people. So that's really, really important to me. King talked about bias, and the idea of bias, and I'm not a big believer in bias, in the sense that people say things like, of course you said this nice thing to me, like you're my friend, like, yeah, you're biased because that's the reason why you said this. But here's the thing, people forget this, but like no one is like, you're not born friends, right? So like at some point someone like, just, and I'm sorry, King, that you're the one here, in the streams I pick on whoever I see, but you're the only one here. Like I'm biased toward King Panda, but as an example, but not in the sense that like, oh, I'm just saying I like his stream because I like him. Like there was a time I didn't know who the hell King Panda was, and I liked his stream when I first went on it, and I had no idea the kind of person he was other than his stream. And it's like the bias, it's not. It doesn't like magically exist. The bias is there because it was built from something which, oh, this person's super sweet. It's not, yeah, I'm biased in saying that, but the reason why I'm biased is because you're super sweet. That's the reason why I was why the friendship formed, etc. So it's like bias isn't a bad thing in that sense. It's not like they're just saying this because they're my friend. It's like that the reason, and I don't know if I might just be babbling, King, and you can tell me if it makes sense what I'm saying, but like the bias is created because, there's an artist you really like. You didn't always like that artist. You saw their art and you liked it and you thought it was really cool. So yeah, you like art by them. You are quote unquote biased, but realistically, it started somewhere from, I've never heard of this person, to, oh, wow, that is really cool what they created, and I really like that. So maybe you are biased in a sense, but realistically, like, if someone came to me and they said, like, RaichuU, it's, like, awesome, like, I love when you, like, talk about stuff, and it's really awesome to hear you, like, say, talk about topics, and, like, I really like listening to you, like, they weren't born loving hearing me talk. It was formed because it was something that they at one point heard me talk and said, wow, this guy like is a good talker. I like listening to him. And so that bias was formed because they liked it. So when your friend says, hey, I really like the art you make, the music you make, whatever. Yeah, they're your friend, but like you earned that praise because you did something well, and that's probably something that the person likes about you. So yeah, I don't know. I kind of went on an incoherent rambling there. King, did that make sense at all? You're a logical guy.
Yeah, no, it definitely made sense there. You're always making amazing points.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, people assume, and people tell me that all the time. And that's always frustrated me when people tell me you're biased. Like, of course you're gonna say I'm super sweet. Like, you're my friend, but like, the reason why I think you're super sweet, that's the reason why I became your friend. Like, as an example, like, it wasn't the other way around. It's not like I was magically your friend. It's like these things that I like that you're doing or creating, or just things about you that I like those things, and that's the reason why we're friends. That the bias it's not something to look bad upon like that. The reason why that bias formed, the reason why you form bias towards someone is because of these amazing qualities they have. Like, and so that's why if someone says like you're biased, like, yeah, hell yeah, I am, because like I like these things about you. That's why I'm talking to you right now. That's why I'm here in your DM saying, yo, you're freaking incredible. Like, that's kind of what it comes down to in my eyes. The end of RaichuU yapping. Anything to add from that, King? I think we're on the same page.
You touched upon it all well.
Thank you. Yeah, I think we're on the same page there. It is easy to write yourself off, like King said, from both perspectives. And here I go yapping again because I thought of something else. But it is easy from receiving compliments or giving. As a receiver, it's very easy to write yourself off. But just realize that there's no like. It's very difficult to be open and compliment someone. Like, it's not an easy thing. I sometimes make it seem easy, but it's hard to be vulnerable and compliment someone. So if someone's going like out of their way to say something like you're so incredibly sweet to me, and like that means a lot to me, and like I really like that you're so kind to me and like thoughtful. Like, if someone says something like that to you, for example, like they are being very vulnerable. and it's scary to be vulnerable. So don't write them off and say, oh, you're biased. Like, appreciate it. Like, take it in and appreciate that they're taking the time to say something nice about you, because it's freaking hard, dude. So if someone praises you, I think that would be the message that I would want to get out of this, is if someone praises you for anything, again, whether it be about a talent you have, like I like that music piece, I like that art piece, or if it's just, you're a really sweet person and I love spending time with you, like things like that, even, like, it's hard to be vulnerable and open yourself up because it's scary. I'm sure, I think, King Panda, you can definitely agree that it is scary to be vulnerable and compliment someone and like, oh, what if they think I'm weird for saying this about them? Would you agree with that? Like, it's scary.
Yeah.
Like, what if I say I like this about them and they think I'm a weirdo, like a creep? And it's very easy to feel that way and be scared. Like, what if I say this and then my friend doesn't like that and then they never? It's very easy to get in your own head and go like, what if I tell them that I think they're really cute or something, like, oh, you're really attractive, and then like, oh, now they think I'm a weirdo and now they're never going to speak to me again or something. Like, it's hard to be vulnerable, and it's scary, and everyone's heads immediately jump to the worst possible conclusion. Like, yeah, if I say this, they're going to hate me and then we're never going to speak again and everything is going to go to hell. So it is super scary to be vulnerable. And I'm just, I'm a work in progress too. I do my best to be open and able to tell people what I like about them. But even for me, it's very scary. And sometimes I just get scared and think like, they're going to hate me for saying this. But realistically, I mean, come on. No, I've received my fair share of compliments in my life too. Thank you, everyone who's ever said anything nice about me. And I can confidently say I've never thought, wow, that person was really a creep for saying something nice about me. No, it's always very flattering. And so it feels good. So I think in that regard, we all want to be praised. So praise your friends. If you like something that they did, or even if it's just something, and this is the topic we talked about a lot again, even if it's just something they did, hey, that was really fun hanging out with you today. Like, thank you for giving me your time. Time is everyone's most valuable resource. So if someone's giving you their time, like King Panda's giving me hours of his time this weekend to record the podcast. Like, if someone's giving you your time, like, that's the most valuable resource that we have in life. And so even if it's just something simple like that, appreciate your friends. Tell them what you like about them. Tell them what you think they're doing a good job in, and let the love flow, because there's not enough love in the world, and it is a scary thing, and I understand why we're all self-conscious. But just try to go outside your comfort zone and say something nice about someone, because it really does. It can make a big difference, and things you say can stick with people. Like King was mentioning earlier, they can stick with you for a long time. And even if you're not friends with that person anymore, sometimes you might remember something that they said years ago and think like, maybe I'm not so bad. Like, this person said that about me. Maybe I'm not so bad after all. So, yeah, spread the love. They're not always gonna be able to show their appreciation. Again, another point King brought up earlier. But like, people won't always be able to necessarily show you their appreciation for your appreciation back the way that you want it, or that you think they should respond, etc. But that shouldn't stop you from trying to just spread positivity and tell people what you like about them. It's tough. We're all struggling. So say something nice about someone, because it can really make a difference. And that, I guess that's about it. Sorry, I said I was going to stop yapping, and then I talked for another 5 minutes, King. It's my specialty.
No, it's absolutely no. You're not yapping. You're fine. You're absolutely fine. But yeah, if ever there's a line of doubt, anyone out there that's watching, because I was dealing with this just the other day. Don't be afraid to share how you feel. If you sit around and you bottle that up, and you let it linger, it's just going to cause this like overall like tight feeling in you, and it's not worth just kind of holding inside. So don't be afraid to share how you feel about anything, and you'll as my friend recently told me, he said, once you share it, once you say the thing that you want to say, you'll eventually see that there's really nothing to be afraid of.
Yep.
So don't live, essentially just don't live your life with regrets.
Yep.
Or try to keep those regrets as minimal as possible. Because if, you know, time goes on and you find out that, oh, I never eventually got the chance to say the thing that I wanted to say,
It's very true.
well, then that's just going to stick with you. So best to take the chance, live in the moment,
Yep.
and say the thing that you want to say, and then go forward from there.
Yeah.
Because it's overall, you're going to feel better. I mean, you're going to feel a little scared if you
yeah.
say the thing that you
It
want to
is
say
scary.
at first. But once it's out there, and then you can progress beyond that point, from that onward. But yes, don't live your life with regrets, and don't be afraid.
Yep.
Or try not to be afraid,
Yeah.
if possible.
Yep.
You'll live your life a lot more comfortably.
You might feel afraid, but
as a
you can
result.
try to overcome that fear.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, King brought up another good point. Is like, yeah, like don't live with regret. Like the way I always live life is like, I hope it doesn't happen. I might walk outside tomorrow and get hit by a bus, and you guys will never hear from me again. So like that is why I try to say the things I do, is because if I got hit by a bus tomorrow, again, sorry, King Panda, you're our example right here. I hope that King would remember all the nice things I said about him, and they would stay in his head, and they would live with him, even if I weren't here. No one is promised tomorrow, so say what you want to say, and let people know, you know, when you appreciate them, and because yeah, you never know when the last time, at any point, it's kind of dark, but at any point it could be our last opportunity to say something that we want to say to someone. So say what's on your mind, you know, and just get it out there, because yeah, you know, I want the messages that you know, the kind words that I've said about people, I want them to resonate, always. And, you know, and it's easy to say, you know, oh, RaichuU says this stuff a lot, so he's just saying it because he says it so much, and he's just saying it. But really, the reason why I say it a lot is because, yeah, none of us are promised. None of us are promised tomorrow, and yeah, so it's important to let people know, because you never know if you won't get the chance to again. So I think that is what what you mentioned there brought out of me. King, did anything I say there bring out any other thoughts for you, or how you feeling?
No other thoughts. I think we basically covered it. If I were to say anything else, it would just I would just repeat exactly what I'm saying already, just in a different manner.
I gotcha.
No, but I think we made our point fairly clear. So I hope that answered the question.
Yeah.
For
I hope so too.
Whoever was asking that.
Yep. I don't know who it is. It is anonymous. I think it might be the same person as the previous question, if I had to guess. But we're not going to speculate because it's anonymous.
Well, I hope it helped you, anonymous.
Yes, anonymous. Yeah, and you know, well, I'm sure this will be a topic we talk about more. But basically, be open with your friends. If you care about them, tell them. And when someone tells you something they like about you, it can be hard to accept, but accept it. Take it. People don't just say things. Again, it's easy to assume, oh, they're just saying that. But being open and like honest about like something you like about someone is so scary. People don't do it just to hear themselves talk. People do it. They're going out on a limb and putting themselves in a vulnerable position to tell you that they like this about you. So accept it. All right.
Absolutely.
Absolutely indeed. Okay. Well, that is the end of the questions. You know, we finished the questions. King, did you have any other topics that you wanted to bring up, or any last thoughts? I think I had a bit of a last kind of thought, but I'll let you have the floor first for anything you might like to share or anything you'd like to say.
No, I think I don't have anything in mind on my end. Just a big thank you for having me on here again. I know that we did this at the time of release. We've done this recording on 2 separate days.
Yep.
But it was a really fun time, and I'm really looking forward to seeing when this goes live and how the reaction of it is, and
yeah, I'm excited.
When the future episodes come about.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so it'll be out at my goal is 9 p.m. Central Time. So yeah, should be out then. Knock on wood, unless I screw something up. It's 1 p.m. already, so we got a few. I got a few 6 hours to get it up. So Yeah, so thank you again, King. I really appreciate your time. Like I said, time is all of our most valuable resources, so I'm thankful, and I hope you know that I really appreciate having you here, and I'm very thankful that you gave me and us your time, because I really value your thoughts and opinions, and the way you present yourself and the way you speak. And we're not guys, we're not going to get into the Compliment King Panda stream because we'll be here all night. But yeah, no, I appreciate all those things. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So my final, I guess my final closing thoughts today is, I'm someone a lot of people feel very open to talking to about their lives, how they're feeling, and I'm thankful that people are open about that. So I just kind of want to put it out there, and obviously, there's probably many people out there struggling that I don't talk to, but I just want to say, just kind of in general, we're all struggling. It's going to circle back to the point of like people say like, oh, RaichuU has everything together, etc. Oh, there's no way he struggles, but like we're all struggling out there, and it's been a really tough year for me too. And in a lot of ways, it's probably been one of my toughest years. So we're all out there struggling and just kind of doing our best. So if you're going through something right now, really, we're all going through things all the time. But whatever you're going through right now, just keep on pressing through. And I want everyone to succeed and fulfill their dreams and their goals and all that stuff. So it's kind of I just want to kind of put that out there, that like if you're struggling and you're having doubts, you're having like thoughts of like that you're not feeling the motivation, like no one wants me, like like if you're not feeling the motivation, just know that that I do want you to succeed. If you're listening to this, I definitely want you to succeed. So if that's the only motivation you have, is that you want to succeed because I'm saying it right now, I hope that you'll use that as motivation, because I hope to hear about your successes someday. And we've all been for lack of a better way to put it, we've all been at rock bottom, and we've all gone through struggles, and we've all had bad times, and sometimes you don't know if other people are struggling. So yeah, basically just keep on going, and keep going. We'll get you'll get through it. I believe in you, and we'll keep on going. And you never know where life will take you. Life does have its ups and downs and turbulence. But we all just keep pressing on, and that's the best you can do. Is we talked about it earlier, like friends that maybe passed or loved ones that pass away, and all you can kind of do is just you got to keep pressing on for yourself and for those that you care about. So I hope that anyone listening that's struggling, I hope that they can keep pressing on for me. If I'm someone that they care about, I hope that they will keep pressing on for me. So keep pressing on. Life is hard, guys. We're all struggling, but I hope that things will get better for you soon if they're not in the best place right now. So yeah, that's what I just wanted to kind of close on, like a motivational kind of positive message, and just let people know that yeah, it's tough out there, but we're all doing our best, and yeah, that's all we can do. That's all we can do. We're all imperfect. We're all struggling, but we do our best, and we keep on putting one foot in front of the other and moving forward. So yeah, that's what I had to say. King Panda, thank you again. I really appreciate it. If you had anything else you want to say based on what I said, I'm sure you're going to say, RaichuU, I agree with you. You said that very well. And
but it's true though. There's very little that I can add with to match the overall messages that you provide so well.
Thank you.
You're a wonderful speaker. You always know what to say. And you always know how to uplift the people's spirits. So big thank you for everything that you do.
Thank you. It means a lot.
Continue to motivate and encourage as you do, as you always have been. And I'm always looking forward to seeing the next thing that you're getting into.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. There's going to be good things to come. So likewise, I look forward to what's to come for you. Spooky month starting in 2 days, y'all. Wow. Crazy.
Yep.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So
I had to be
lots to do.
busy. I'm going to be busy.
I
Oh my
know.
goodness.
I just made a tweet about that earlier. I was like, oh, there's so much to do. Oh, golly gosh. So let's do our best out there, King. That's one of my favorite quotes too. Is it's from Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. It's a very simple quote. It says it's called "Do your best as always." That's what the quote is, and that's what you got to do. You know, go out there and do your best, and that's all we can do. So let's do our best this week, King and beyond, and everyone else listening.
You got it.
All right.
Absolutely.
All righty, guys. Signing off of the first ever podcast, which, by the way, I still actually hold on, guys. We got a little ending segment here. I was trying to come up with a good name because people were saying when they see RAI-cast, it looks like racist when it's typed out, and I was like, you're kind of right about that.
Oh no, that's definitely not what we want to do.
I was thinking like what about like va-RAI-ety? Like a variety, like calling it va-RAI-ety, because we're talking about such a wide variety of topics on the podcast. I was like, that would be a pretty cool name, like va-RAI-ety, a podcast by TheRaichuuu. With the Rai part emphasized, like RAI. But yeah, I don't know. So I was kind of chewing on stuff. So we'll see what it ends up being called. But yeah, I don't know. RAI-cast might have to go because yeah, people see it and they go, wait a second, did that say racist? No, there's no racism going on here, guys. It's just I'm not clever. I just add Rai to the beginning of any RAI-tube, RAI-cast. I'm not that clever, okay? So that's the reason why. But anyway, we'll figure out what to call it. I just had that thought. So yeah. All right. Sorry, King, for keeping you. Any final thoughts for our lovely, lovely audience out there as we close out the very first inaugural episode of the TheRaichuuu podcast?
Just as a repeat that I've mentioned before from a wonderful dear friend of mine, who always closes out his projects. Woofles the Waffler. He always closes out with saying, "You matter today, you matter yesterday, and you matter tomorrow." And keep being you. Thank you.
Yep, that's a good life motto. Yep, absolutely, and that ties back into that quote that I referenced earlier. You're like, yep, you are better than you give yourself credit for. So give yourself some credit, and if you struggle with that, that's okay too. I hope your friends will be there to bring you up because you do matter. So, alrighty, signing out, guys. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you very, very soon.